If I asked you what the worst job in college football was, there would only be one correct answer: UMass. The University of Massachusetts plays in one of the saddest stadiums in FBS, where since moving up, they've gone 26 and 134. Their football team gets allocated almost zero resources to use, and I decided after all of that, I was going to make it even more impossible. First of all, they don't need to bring down the max, so I made them independent again, where we'll have to face 10 top 25 opponents every single season. We'll be going on the road to Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Oregon, all over the country. But that wasn't impossible enough of a rebuild yet. The next thing I've done is, besides playing on the hardest difficulty like I always do, is I've brought back the hardest sliders that I have ever played this game on, which practically made me lose my mind before, but it's needed since I'm such a good recruiter. That brings up another issue schools like UMass face. Most football talent doesn't come from up north, but it's gonna have to in this impossible series, because I am only allowed to recruit out of these states, many which produce 0 to 3 players a year. Now, coming off of an 0-12 season, UMass's roster is about as bad as it gets. There are only 44 players on it, which is about the same overall as this team. Running back Brandon Hood, the sophomore, is the one solid player that we have. He comes in with 92 speed. He also is pretty elusive, but he is like 50 overalls blocking for him. And on defense, I'm supposed to get excited about Tyler Martin as my user, but he is just 75 speed. I can't say there's much great receiving talent we'll be thrown to either. Maybe Kenyon Massey breaks out, but that brings us over to the quarterback position, where Zach Lawrence better not get injured, because we don't want to start a 52 overall freshman. I can't say he's going to be very good for us either. His accuracy is limited. He also only has 69 speed, which is a major problem for me, because if you've ever watched me before, I like to scramble a lot. That is exactly why, of the limited prospects we can go after in the Northeast region, these are literally the only quarterbacks available. I was trying to find somebody that could be a little bit quicker. We're going after 2 stars. We even got locked out of a 1-star quarterback. Not that I wanted Bryce Pounds, but it kind of shows you the scope of how little we're working with in the Northeast region. There's one 3-star quarterback we could target, but he's a bust. He cares about pro potential, so he's going to transfer a year after coming here anyway. We don't want Cushenberry. And that means we're going to have to put a load of hours into J.R. Brees, because even though he's got 73 speed, 80 throw power, we're going to have to beat out Rutgers, who is a tier 5 pipeline. I don't want to act like there's not any good prospects in this region, though, because I have found one 4-star prospect, a linebacker, and one 5-star prospect, a receiver, that we're still going to target. Odds aren't looking great, but outside of that, we got like one 3-star corner we could go after. He is a JUCO, so that's already not off to a great start. I want as much eligibility as possible on these guys, and we should probably just get into our first game, get it over with. We're playing this entire season in this video. I hope I've kind of set the frame and the scope of what it is going to take for us to take UMass, playing 10 ranked schools a year, and then turn them around, rebuild them, hopefully eventually win a national championship. I mean, that's how these series normally end. And I don't even think there's a spot in the crowd where our fans have showed up to this game. It looks like we're going to be facing a freshman quarterback first, though. And I did put Notre Dame on the schedule because I didn't want to hear any whining about them not being included. This cannot be the first play of this dynasty. This just cannot be the first play of this dynasty. With everything stacked against us, it might actually be impossible. Like I was telling you all, Brandon Hood is our only little bit of hope on this team, but I'm not sure how he's going to be able to get the run established. Not great vision. Our one goal for this first season is just going to be winning one game with UMass. It's all I want to accomplish. Brandon Hood makes it 3rd and 7. And we're going to be looking for either Massey or Elliott, with the hopes of them getting open. It's going to be a pick. We're throwing an interception less than a minute into the game. My skill set is not built for this, but we are going to improve. We are really starting from the bottom. I just don't know how much we're going to be able to improve with the recruiting restrictions that we're also facing. Looks like they're just going to keep it on the ground with another run. They don't even think they need to throw the football against us. But can you blame them? Aeneas Williams has probably rushed for over 100 yards in his 3 carries. There's a flag, and this is very good news. It's against Notre Dame. We are getting some help that we need to stay in it. Now that it's 1st and 20, they're still going to run the football. And do we think Tyler Martin is going to be getting anywhere with this 75 speed? I'm not sure, but we're trying to lurk him. We have a sack. This can't be real. It is 3rd and 29. All we have to do is make sure we don't give up more than a little bit to the Irish. This is fine. Holding them to a field goal is nice, but we have to figure out how to score next. I think one thing that could be extremely beneficial to us is if we mix in some RPOs, especially if we got numbers out there we can't hold our block. Never mind. We should have been able to even have a 2v1 in that situation. Tight end's going to catch it. 3rd and 7. We are going to be looking back in his direction on this play, though. It's a big down for us. He seems to be open, and the throw is just short of the marker. I am going to force myself to play it realistically as well, because typically I just want to go for it there, but we have to punt it. And I'm very interested to see how we figure out to find any bit of success this season if we can. We're going to get to know this roster pretty well. Who can actually tackle? Who never needs to play football for UMass again. And then some of these guys are just going to graduate, like senior Tyler Martin looks like he's going to have to be in coverage for this play, or they just flip the run and he brings them down. Okay, it is 3rd and 3. We're going to go with the cover 3 look, hard flats underneath. We have everything guarded. There's also a flag, and it's against us. What is this penalty? We just got to stop. You've got to be kidding. I don't know what freshman Jerry Washington was thinking. The ball was out, and he just takes the guy down. Wait. He didn't tackle him. Are we serious right now? I knew football was getting softer. How is that roughing the passer? I guess you can add another disadvantage to the list. We're not going to have any refs wanting to see us succeed. This entire system has been built to keep UMass down, but we look for interceptions, or we're just going to leave the tight end open. Bailey, come on. Gotta catch him there, man. You're like 50 pounds lighter. You can't let him outrun you. It could be time to move on to our next game already. I mean, 17-0 is rough, but I still see a little bit of potential out of the run. Our biggest issue is we haven't been able to pick up a first down all season, but we got one. And there cannot be another flag. These refs are all over it. Well, now it's 2nd and 17. We're gonna get a huge run out of Brandon Hood, though. No. We are 100% immediately fixing the penalty sliders. I don't care if it's more realistic. There was no illegal block in the back there. Maybe there was, but I'm just going to act blind to it. Halfback direct gets us nothing. And we still have technically not picked up a first down this season. But we had the drag for a second. He breaks the tackle. Pedro first. Elijah Pedro might be my favorite receiver right now. And Brandon Hood is exploding out of there. See, there is some potential. We're going to have to play almost perfectly, though, if we're ever going to achieve it. And I got to say, that drop right there is inexcusable. We're going to look underneath. There's a flag. And yep, those sliders are getting changed. It is my fault. I bumped them up way more than recommended just because I felt like I never see flags in this game. So this is really, really bad. Listen, I'm a realist. If we see a ridiculous, unrealistic amount of something happening, we will still fix things. This game is done. We don't even belong on the same field as Notre Dame. I'm writing us off already. It doesn't matter if we got to stop. We're still down by 20. And I just have not been able to figure out a way for us to get the offense moving for first downs. We're short again. If we could take one thing away from this matchup, it would be nice for us to score a touchdown. I mean, the Irish are just doing it with ease, which could actually be a possibility. We have been able to drive down to the red zone in the 4th quarter. Though I will say, 3rd and 10 now, not looking incredible for us. We go with the halfback screen just because Brandon Hood is our chance at getting the first. And I don't feel great about running straight into a defensive line of much better players, but he helps us move the chains. I'm telling you right now, if there's any victory we can take away from this game, it would be scoring. I'm going to be very interested to see how the recruits react to this, but there it is. Brandon Hood gets into the end zone. UMass football has some hope. It really doesn't matter to me if they had their backups in for most of the second half. We scored. And like I said, I'm immediately fixing all of the sliders. I only had it on 65, but it was a holding call like every other play. At least I can say in recruiting, so far, so good. We're in first place for basically every single prospect on our board, including a physical route runner. I've been hard selling. We're actually able to, even though our championship contender grade is so bad. And once NC State starts making a push for Enrique Kush, once we see Virginia and Pitt start to make a push for Bryce Kroom, I don't know if we can close out these battles. I still don't even know if we can land a 2-star quarterback, but we're trying our best under our circumstances. I think our stadium only seats like 18,000 people in total. The best grades that we have are the fact that we're an independent school, because Notre Dame's a part of the independence. They bring that grade up, and our academic prestige. We just aren't going to get any good brand exposure, and our program tradition is only a little bit higher than you might imagine, because UMass was solid at the FCS level. I think they won a national championship there in like 1998. Oregon at Autzen is next. And I told myself, one thing we should do before each of these games is kind of see the roster we're facing. It's just going to be like DeCorian Moore having 97 speed. What am I supposed to do about that? The only benefit I see is Dante Moore left for the NFL, and their best replacement was Isaac Wilson. The Ducks actually don't have a quarterback, and they already lost their first game of the season to Boise State. So all of a sudden, even though I have like no hope, it gives me just this little sliver of it. Before this game has even started though, when it comes to the uniform game, we have already been shredded by the Ducks. Their jerseys for this matchup are incredible. And look at Elijah Pedro getting loose off of the opening kick return to almost midfield. That is the type of start that we need. If we could just get a field goal out of this drive, we would at least be on the board. And our first carry is going to go for almost 15. Brandon Hood is actually our savior until they figure out how to stop the run. He will be getting almost every single touch that we can give him. Halfback toss to the outside. Using his speed, he is able to take us to the 22. But now Lawrence is confused. We're not coming out with a run. We've hit him with the play action, and there's just no separation. Jack Smarkovich didn't need any separation, though. He held on to the football, cut to the outside. They're there. And we have no receivers on the field. We are not disguising what we're doing. Oregon knows exactly what is coming. But can Brandon Hood finish the job? That's the question. They have loaded this box. He breaks one tackle. We're at the 3. And I'm just going to be honest, if we are winning this game, we're not kicking a field goal from here. We're going to flip the play. I like our numbers. To the left side. Brandon Hood, untouched, into the end zone. UMass has the opening score, and that's what we wanted. Now we lean on our defense, who cannot press DeCorian more. We're going to need to be backed up this entire game, which will open up stuff like that underneath. I really don't know the best way to counter it. Maybe their quarterback can't make great throws. Isaac Wilson is young. He's inexperienced. Even that pass wasn't that great. It was really the catch that worked out for him. That throw off target too. And we really just want the Ducks to have to work for every yard that they end up getting against us. I didn't say it was going to be easy for us to win a game this season, but there's always the possibility that we could. And we're going to man up number 3 just in case this is an RPO bubble. It looks like it was. What is our man up doing if he can still catch the football? Instead of a bubble, he just ran an in, but we should have been there to guard it. Isaac Wilson, does he have speed? Oh, we're not making tackles. We're not making tackles. That was a little bit too easy for Oregon, but you know what? We got the talent still. Hand it off. I think anything that'll get Brandon Hood out in space is going to be our best chance at some of these larger gains. 3rd and 2. You have to think they probably know the run is coming here, but we don't have an option. We're going to give this dude 40 carries in this game if we need to. What a play. Everybody transferred away from UMass besides him. Our halfback screens always start like as a 5-yard loss. It is far from ideal, especially when the backup is out there, but it's tied at the end of the first. The only way that we pull off wins in games like this is Brandon Hood goes off. We control the clock. And you know what? This is 4-down territory. I was originally going to come out and throw it here, but we might as well run it before we even decide to go through the air. One more carry isn't going to hurt us. That gets the first. Plus, I think it's time we get Elliott his first catch of the season. If it's there, kind of waiting on him. Not much Dallas Elliott can do there. We're going through the air again. I just wanted to get Hood another touch. But they were watching him, making it 3rd and 11. I know our kicker isn't going to be able to hit from here. There's a flag on the play. But it was a holding call. And I wonder what Oregon's going to do. They actually declined the penalty, but we literally cannot kick from here. I've come out wanting to punt it, but I've decided we're changing our mind. If you're going to win a game like this, you have to be aggressive. We haven't really tested Zach Lawrence's arm, if he can even make a good 15-yard throw down the field, but we got an open receiver. Elijah Pedro hangs on. So just like that, we are continuing to stay out there versus the Ducks, and we're even hurdling. Brandon Hood could have transferred to plenty of other schools in the country and been like a 3rd-string running back for them, but instead, he's leading the way for UMass. It is just our defense that is also going to have to do some stuff like that. Toughest schedule in the country, cannot phase us. We have no talent out there. Maybe I just need to get on the defensive line, see if we get in pressure that way. Washington did have that roughing the passer penalty last week, which means he's getting to the quarterback just a little bit too late. Hawthorne in man-to-man. Probably an awful idea versus the Ducks. I mean, we just got routed up in every single way possible. But you know what? I'm just happy we're in a competitive game. He can pull that off of the read option. Let's put ourselves in Isaac Wilson's shoes, though. You have all the talent in the world surrounding you. Everyone's expecting this to be a blowout. And it's not. We currently have a lead. That's a lot of pressure for the kid. He's probably really nervous. We need to keep it that way. RPO again, but we're all over it. I have to say, the home field advantage hasn't even kicked in for Oregon yet. Things are looking really good for us. We're going to knock the ball out. And we should be able to stop the Ducks on 3rd and 13. I saw a running back underneath. Maybe we just need to get to the quarterback. What are we doing? How did he have that much time? Isaac Wilson is looking way too comfortable back there in the pocket. That's out of reach. They're in the end zone. But like I said, we are going to learn from every single game, and this is looking a lot better than the Notre Dame one was. So far, halfback screens seem to be a big weakness for the Ducks. You can only run it so many times before they'll start to catch on. I thought we might have a couple more in us, but look at how many players they got over on that left side of the field. We're just going to hand it off to the right side, and Brandon Hood's getting the first. We just lost one of our linemen to an injury, though. It's only a matter of time before Brandon Hood faces an injury. And I like that little snag from Dallas Elliott. We're going to hit our tight end quick here. It looks like he's going to be able to pick up about 15. I don't know how to say Matthew's last name, so we're just going to call him OG. Looks like inside zone's going to get us about 4. And Garrett Cooper, our center, keeps on getting hurt. Twice on this drive, it has been an injury timeout for him. We're going down in the pocket. But at least we are going to end this first half in a tie game. I think we're going to fall well short of the marker. There was never a great chance of us picking that up or converting. It is what it is. Headed into halftime in Eugene, just to be at 14 all is amazing. We've rushed for 97, we've passed for 57, and we've had our opportunities to stop the Ducks. We just weren't able to execute. No, this can't be our first kick return we give up. We're diving like torpedoes into these players because I know how these tackling sliders work. If we just try and standard wrap up, it's not going to work. McGill gets the interception. There's the bad read. We have been waiting on the quarterback to do something like that. We were probably giving up something deep. He didn't see it. And Oregon fans are not going to be happy with Isaac Wilson. He's going to be begging to transfer to a place like this next season by the time that they're done with him. Brandon Hood getting 15 yards. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to take all the touches that he's getting, but we need him to be healthy this entire second half. Halfback screen, hit that next level, hurdle over a defender, and let's just keep things moving. I don't like seeing our backup running back out there for this play, but we're going to quickly get it out to Arnaud. He gets 4. And back in the game, Brandon Hood. Cut back. He's not getting there. You know what, though? I think this tight end screen to OG could catch them off guard. We haven't run it yet this season, and we might get into the end zone. We have to go for it. I feel like halfback direct is our best shot. This is typically a really good play call, though the numbers aren't necessarily lined up. This is how you beat Oregon. This is how you beat Oregon. Now they're coming out in Wildcat on the 3-yard line. You know what? We might be able to get a safety here, or they're getting out in space. And I still think we did the right thing trying to get that touchdown. I don't know. We could have had a lead over them. I just don't know how many defensive stops we're realistically going to be able to get versus the Ducks. Quick angle route. I do feel like we're doing a really good job with what we're showing them. And senior free safety Jeremiah McGill has been our best defensive player by far. It's not Tyler Martin. We're going to be using him on 3rd and 12. We got in pressure. This makes me really think about the field goal we could have taken. We would have had a lead. We would have been getting the football back off of the return. Pedro going to the 40. How much does Brandon Hood have left in him, though? He might need it. Come on, all the way to the end zone. We get the block that we want. Brandon Hood, touchdown. UMass is not done. And we just got to keep on playing well underneath. There's no way. There's no way McGill just gave that up. He bit really aggressive there. I can't be mad at him because he's made so many plays for us, but he was a little bit out of position, and then he just committed really hard to where he got toasted. All that joy that I had has now been lost because I thought they were going to have to work it down the field. It would have been a lot to ask out of their young quarterback, but instead they score an immediate touchdown. It seems like the Ducks have figured out a little bit of an answer for Brandon Hood as well. He breaks off a 1 tackle, 3rd and 5. And I think this could be a really effective play, except I've noticed we have our backup out there. So I don't even want to run this. We almost want to call our first time out to get Brandon Hood back out there on the field. This is the biggest play in the game. He needs to be there. We are looking for that slant, but we're just going to take this carry. We're going to be able to not make him miss. So we clearly found something very effective, and Brandon Hood is getting exhausted because we have our backup out. Josh Muhammad is a freshman. He's another one that we're going to be using. 3rd and 3. I'm not sure how confident I feel in another run here. It looks like we might have to just go with the pass. It's not letting me audible. We've got him. We've got him. No. I think we all know we cannot punt in this situation. This is a realistic spot to go for it. We're going to put Brandon Hood on an angle route if it lets us. I'm staring him down no matter what. Get it out to him. Hang on. He doesn't. We've literally played this game perfectly. Perfectly all the way up until this moment. He just snagged that with one hand. I kid you not, Casper on Oregon is the player that I fear the most. Isaac Wilson can't seem to hit him in stride anywhere. Oh no. It's at the 1. Well, a few minutes ago, we were sitting real pretty. And I'll say this, we have run the ball so effectively. But we're going to need that goal line stand, which we don't get. Maybe Elijah Pedro can get a good return going for us, though. He seemed to get one at the beginning. And we have not even thought about throwing the football with Zach Lawrence. We really keep giving it to Brandon Hood. The issue, though, is as he gets more tired, we're going to have to find another answer on this offense. You can see he's down -8 speed, -10 break tackle, -8 change of direction, and 3rd and 11 is very tricky to pick up. I think Elijah Pedro could get open potentially, but he just got bumped. We needed a good route from Jake Elliott. Forgive me, Dallas Elliott. I think Jake Elliott was like a kicker or something. I pulled that name out of somewhere, and now Brandon Hood's back for 8 more. He is giving his all at the moment. I think we're going to look at Massey underneath. He's somebody we haven't given very many touches to, though we're taking a sack before we can get it out. And that's going to make things 3rd and 11 from our own 25-yard line. It's not a great spot, to be in. As much as I didn't want to, we really don't have a choice but to punt the football here and just pray our defense figures things out. It's just going to be tricky for them to do that. Isaac Wilson running around scared in the pocket, and we knew he was going to go to the flat. We knew Kyler Casper was just sitting there waiting on the football. He now has 8 receptions for 166 yards. This is our chance to make a tackle and get the football back. We've put them on a 3rd and 4. I'm going to be watching the underneath with Martin. No one cut underneath on this side. They're trying to take the top off of our defense. No shot. Well, there's a Decorian Moore sighting. We hadn't seen him all game, but I guess they realized they could still use him effectively. Hood's losing yards. And once our rushing game got shut down, our passing game has been really exposed. I can't say Lawrence has played incredibly, though I'll take that. It was a clean read. He stepped up in the pocket. He held his spot there very well, and he's going to do it again. We got OG. I actually like that we're being forced to throw the football because we have avoided it most of this season, mainly due to Brandon Hood. I've been scared of Zach Lawrence just letting things fly. He could have it in him, though. 3rd and inches, it makes sense to just hand this football off to get the first. And then we're going to go for a quick bubble to Massey, assuming it's not guarded. It's not. He makes the catch, and he's out of bounds. All right, Dallas Elliott on the right side of the field. He's going to have an in route that we're going to try and feed him on. Really, most of our players have done a solid job whenever it comes to catching the football, but we're about to go down. We can't audible to a run or anything. That throw is out of reach. And before we try and throw to the end zone on 4th down, I called a halfback draw, but you see, we don't have Brandon Hood out there on the field. Not that it would have mattered anyway. This is the game. It looks like the only play that we could even get out, Elijah Pedro's in the end zone. And we're never going to see the football again. Congratulations to Oregon. I doubted Isaac Wilson, and I doubted him for good reason. But if a 75 overall quarterback's doing that to us, I can only imagine what some of the other quarterbacks on our schedule are going to do. We have the period where we go at Ohio State and at Georgia coming up once Penn State comes to town for our first home game. Boston College and UConn are the 2 teams on our schedule that aren't going to be ranked when we play them. Those are just rivalries, so they're going to be on the schedule every single season. It looks like with the loss of James Franklin, Ethan has stuck around. Penn State's still going to have Gronk, and Corey Smith, a 95 speed running back. He's not going to be fun to stop. They have speed at receiver. It's just not looking like a fun week. But if Brandon Hood can rush for another 191 rushing yards on 28 carries, maybe we can stay in the game. Just a little update for our recruiting board. J.R. Brees, we have a lead on still, but we're never going to be able to hard sell because 2 of the school grades he's interested in, we have an F grade for. But we'll just have to see how things end up developing. It's time for our first home game at Warren McGurk Alumni Stadium. I can't sit here and tell you that it's the best stadium at the FBS level because most consider it one of the worst. It's old, it's outdated, and it doesn't seat too many people. But it is our home. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to hopefully be able to sell out some crowds because we're playing against big schools. I mean, that looks like what has happened here. I see a lot of fans. Can we make a tackle? No, we're not opening up the game, giving up a kick return. The whole purpose of playing a lot of these schools, by the way, is raise some money so we can build up our program. It's why we're playing 10 top 25 opponents every season. First carry for Penn State. This is looking just like the Notre Dame game, not like the Oregon one. Breaking a tackle, and they're in. They're in. This just can't be the showing that we put on in front of our home fans. Within 15 seconds of this game starting, they've already got their touchdown. We're not even going to return it. And we're trying to hype our guys up, but it really just needs to be Brandon Hood. Either he is able to carry us in front of all of these guys, or we just lose by a lot. Though it's not to his advantage that Penn State got a lot of tape of him running all over Oregon. They have adjusted. It's looking like a quick 3 and out for the Minutemen. We are going to try and hit our tight end, OG, up the middle. He's got a good route on him. Great catch. Actually, a surprisingly solid throw from Zach Lawrence, the freshman quarterback, who I've been really negative of. But truthfully, even though he can't scramble, he's just not that bad. We're going to hit our RPO. Elliott tried to reach for the first. Dallas could not get us there. It is 3rd and 2. We're going with the handoff. Brandon Hood sees the space. Offensively, we're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. I was definitely not doing that against Notre Dame, but we have found some stuff that works well for us. So even though we are much worse than the teams we're facing, I feel like we can put together a couple of solid drives. A great block from Brandon. He allowed us to step up in that pocket. We just couldn't find anybody in time. It's going to be 3rd and 6. Maybe 3rd and 9. A little bit of a misread there. We're either going to hit our bubble or we're going to hit the slant. Looks like Penn State didn't fall for any of it. And they're saying we should take our field goal, but I don't believe in any of that. We're going to hit our out route. He is so short of the marker. And it was a predetermined read. It wasn't a great play for us. I thought we just got in instant pressure. Would have been another great play from one of our safeties, but it just wasn't. No run there. I will say I'm a little bit uncomfortable running man-to-man coverage, even though it felt like we had everything taken care of. Brunkmeyer doesn't respect our cornerbacks, so he threw it anyway. That's a pick with anyone else. I'm noticing a trend. It's going to be a quarterback direct run. I should know this playbook better than anyone else. I used Penn State's in the online dynasty with St. Pete. It is sad that that has come to an end. But just rewatching the videos, getting them ready to post, gave me the motivation to want to do another long dynasty like this where I play every game because I enjoy it. I was just sitting there on the couch and I was thinking, what if I sent UMass back to being an independent? I could make their schedule brutally impossible. We'd have full control of it. So that's where I got my inspo for this series, and we're already headed into the second quarter, 7-0. This is a really big 3rd and goal coming up. I wasn't expecting them to run it, but that was the right decision. We simply did not have the bodies to stop Corey Smith. Not sure why we're throwing it here, especially with passes like that. Once I start going down by a little bit, we just go away from the run, even though Brandon Hood is our way back into this game. Look at him exploding on him. We're just going to need about 15 more of those for us to actually beat the Nittany Lions. He is special, though. He's another player that's young, so he can be with the team for a while. Honestly, most of this roster is young. The guys that stuck around wanted their college opportunity. But now it is 3rd and 17, and I don't think this is open. But Massey makes the catch. Forget anything I said about Zach Lawrence. We don't even need to sign a 2-star quarterback. Zach Lawrence is him. Zach Lawrence is not him. Whatever I was about to say is it. Well, 5 minutes left in this second quarter, already down by 21. We got a little bit too confident. Elijah Pedro is going to get us 6 on the ground. And if we can't reach the end zone on this drive, I don't know how you win this game. I still have faith that at some point this season, we're going to be able to pull off one win, though. That is the only goal. We did get Brandon Hood out in space, but this next play only works if he's still in the game, and since he's not, we're losing yards. 2nd down, I'm going to be looking for Dallas Elliott on his comeback route, but since they guarded it, we tried to throw the zig. Elijah Pedro just could not locate the football, so instead, we're looking at Massey on 3rd and 13. Can he come to that ball first? No. No, 16 played it well. I really imagined that our home fans were going to get a better showing than this, especially after how we just competed against the Ducks. We're being outclassed, though, in every single aspect. Even one defensive stop against Penn State would make me feel incredible. It's not coming. We truly had the perfect storm last week, facing off against a low overall quarterback, an offense that wasn't that effective. Oregon lost their offensive coordinator, Will Stein, to Kentucky. Clearly, that had an impact on him. And Penn State's up 28-0. This is probably going to be our worst beating of the season. We'll see what happens in the second half if we can ever get any momentum going. But I'm assuming most of it's not even making the cut. 3rd and super long. It's another pick. I was just trying to reach the marker. Instead, we just gave them a free field goal. We might have given them a free touchdown. You've got to be kidding me. This is just going to show how fluky that game against Oregon was. And even against the Penn State backups, we haven't been able to put together a single scoring drive. It is now 4th and 10. We're still looking to get onto the board just to avoid embarrassment. But it doesn't change the fact if we scored or not that we just lost 49-0 at home. In the process, I guess Stephen Ogden realized we need help at like every position. He decided to commit. But there are still plenty of other players that are going to want to transfer at the end of the season anyway, which is not good seeing 2 cornerbacks there since I can't find many corners in the Northeast. It's also come to my attention for whatever reason, Rutgers really wants quarterback J.R. Brees now, and they have that Tier 5 pipeline, so we can schedule him for a visit against Pitt. It won't really make a difference. Either way, we're cooked there, and we're also going to be cooked going to number 4 Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith, like expected, 99 overall. Julian Sayin, 95 overall. They even got Lacey from Ole Miss, one of the best running backs in the country. This offense looks unstoppable. And I think this is going to be one of those games, like last week, where I just regret even playing. It's going to be really fun to see how long we can even keep it somewhat competitive. That's about the most entertaining thing we can take away from this, though, because I don't even believe in us. How are we supposed to pull it off? We are working with a 47 overall roster, a quarterback that had 4 picks last week, and I think Brandon Hood is just going to get shut down. If he wanted to transfer, I couldn't even blame him. I mean, it'd be a smart decision for his career. I thought he had that one. Instead, though, early 3rd and 5, and look at Elijah Pedro. We're either hitting him in the seam or waiting on Dallas to have that cut. I'm actually impressed Elliott was able to hang on to the football there, and now we go for the handoff to Brandon Hood. 15 more. Okay, so far, so good. Buckeyes have not been able to stop the run, surprisingly. And we're going to flip this next one because we would have been running into so many other players. It is already feeling like 4-down territory, though. I thought we might be able to get them with the play action, and we did. They left Jax wide open. He is much more of a blocking tight end than a receiving one, but he's already made a couple of great catches for us out of this formation. And we're going to stay out there in it. That was supposed to be a run. Well, not ideal. 3rd and 12. I can't even tell what routes we have out there on the field, but OG was going to get open. And a 43-yard kick is not going to be a gimme, but we just got to lock in and take this lead versus the Buckeyes. I think we got it. I think we got it. As for our defense, I'm not sure what we do here. All I had our guys do before this game was just pray, because we're sure going to need it. This is the first play. The first play, and this has already gone to the house. He's like their 4th best player. There were so many other guys I was worried about. They went for 2, though, and they weren't able to pull it off. So that was a little bit disrespectful from Ohio State. I have a feeling most of their offensive drives are going to end like that, though. So we can't afford to settle for another field goal. We can't afford anything outside of a touchdown. And I do trust in OG to make something happen here. He's got 82 speed as a tight end. He's able to break some tackles, making it 3rd and 2. We're already near midfield. This is 4-down territory. We're not going to need 4 downs, though, because we got the first. And depending on how far away we are from the marker, it might be 4-down territory everywhere on the field. After losing a few yards there, we tried to mix in an RPO, but I didn't see anything. Maybe Dallas Elliott gets open on his in route. He's been running a lot of those versus the Buckeyes. And if they're going to give it to him, we're going to take it. We have flipped the play for 4th down. We might be able to run with Zach Lawrence. Get out of my way, OG. We're already at a disadvantage because Zach Lawrence has 69 speed. It would have taken him ages to get anything done there, but at least let us take off. I think it's about to get ugly. Last play to end the first half. Where are we, Garrison? Garrison is our safety over the middle. We were in cover 3. Brandon Innes already has a touchdown. Jeremiah Smith already has a touchdown. Everyone's going to score a touchdown against us. We shouldn't even be going for big plays, especially since there's 3 quarters of football left. You can't lose hope already. I have to say, though, we're only averaging 3 yards per carry. It's just not going to cut it. OG isn't open. And what is the over-under for how many plays it's going to take for the Buckeyes to score on us on this next drive? I'm setting it at 3.5. So far, they've scored in 1 play, and I think they scored in 2 or 3 on the last drive. There's 9 yards. But what we can't do is we cannot let ourselves get burnt over the middle of the field here, which is why we got McGill there, our best defender. That's where we have been getting absolutely torched, and we're still letting them get the first. 3rd play of the drive, it's just going to be a run. You know what? They're not going to score that fast. This is why I'm not setting Vegas odds, because it wasn't even close to being accurate. 3rd and 3, we're actually going to play underneath. We have a chance to get Ohio State off of the field. Watching all of these short routes. The slant's open, though, and it's out of reach. It's out of reach. So close, yet so far. I use RPOs to help me against better teams. They are pretty challenging to stop. Whenever you have a team as stacked as Ohio State and they're still running them, I just feel helpless. I don't know what we're supposed to do about that. The worst part is then we have to go on the road to Georgia next week. The week after that, we play Pitt with visits coming to town. And then I think we finally face Boston College, which is one of the opponents on our schedule that's not ranked. What a catch. Maybe, just maybe, we end this first half with a solid drive and we're only down by 10. Even that sounds like a dream. We got our halfback open in the flat. Brandon Hood, make sure he gets the first. At least I thought he did, but he needed to reach for it. 3rd and inches, just going to be a handoff to him. We have the numbers there. Our center, by the way, very undersized. And I can't believe, once again, not spotted for a first down, so we just went for the QB sneak on 4th down. We're just going to stay out there on goal line, too, because Brandon Hood is going to get an opportunity to take this one all the way, just like that, within 10. By the end of the season, he might not be able to walk. He is going to get every potential touch he can take, but it's worth it. If we can even pull off just 1 win, we got to get a stop to end this half. If we do, the game is not over. I'm on Sextol right now. Seems like they're just going to have a passing play for not many yards at all. What type of zone are we playing? I guess nobody was aware that they were just getting run straight by. And I mean, that route is just filthy. We're never going to stop that in man-to-man coverage. How Ohio State has built this roster that they have. Quincy Porter at receiver 2. I mean, they are just loaded. Julian Sayin, though, not getting far. It would be really nice to hold the Buckeyes to just a field goal. And they go underneath. Can we make this tackle? Come on. I genuinely think this is the worst thing we could possibly do here. But we are going to try and send 7. Surprise, surprise. It didn't work. It almost worked on this play, but almost worked is not good enough for us. They are going to have the ball up 17 starting the second half. I mean, hope is just not there. There's no hope at all. I really thought that maybe we could just force them into a couple bad plays, a couple bad reads, and keep it closer for a little bit longer like we did against Oregon. But that's just not been the case. I mean, I bit so hard off of that play action. 2nd and 4. I'm hovering over the center. And you know what? We could get them to a field goal. This is it for UMass. Staying within a 3-possession game. Extremely important. And nothing's there. Never mind. I lied. I lied. Again. You know what, though? Still a 3-possession game. They're up by 24 points. We need 3 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions. And do we have what that takes? Absolutely not. Could this be our biggest passing play ever? I really thought that we were about to bring that one in. Zach Lawrence didn't do an awful job. But here we go. 3rd and 11. Brandon Hood with 90 rushing yards in the game. He's been our best offensive player. They're knocking it out. And I am just accepting that if we didn't go for it on 4th down, the game was just going to be over. But that made things even worse. As proud as I want to say I am of this team of not giving up either, that's another pick. And we lost this one 51-10. Outside of the really tight game that we played against Oregon, so far this season has just been a disaster. There are plenty of other games on the schedule that I know are going to be awful. And I can promise you, with these defensive backs, Georgia is probably going to be another one. If they run man-to-man coverage with 99, 97, 99 speed, we will never get open through the air. If you thought teams had already shut us down offensively, I can only imagine what they're about to do to us at Sanford Stadium. And real tough, Georgia, to have a night game with light shows and bringing out the blackout jerseys against us. What type of message are we trying to send here? We might actually lose this game by 100 points. You can just see the lost hope in my eyes standing there on the sideline. Let's see, what can we do to win this game? Stay urgent no matter the opponent. Mental speed matters. No, it does not. It definitely doesn't versus physical speed. In some situations, you could say that, but not when they have 99 speed cornerbacks. They could be as dumb as rocks, and they are still going to be swarming us. Handoff, Brandon Hood gets 3. So we're going back to our bread and butter on 3rd and 7, a play where OJ's gotten open in the past. He catches it. It is unbelievable some of the stuff that he has done for us. We got to continue to feed our freshman tight end the football. I was considering not even having him as our starting tight end, mainly because he can't block like some of the other ones we got. But he's who we're staring down on 3rd and 5 here to stay in the game versus Georgia, and it's another catch. He doesn't have it. We're on the 43-yard line, though. I think you know that we're going for this. A bubble screen would be perfect because I'm afraid the run might not be enough. Though it was, the drive stays alive. Next carry. Nowhere. Brandon Hood has 5 for 8 yards. The RPO, though, is going to set him up for his first big one. And let's see. What can we do with the halfback screen? Out into space. Taking him a while to accelerate. But you know what? We'll take another 1st down. And I don't even know what play we have out there. I really want a streak for Elijah Pedro. I just don't think the audible has worked due to the home field advantage. And if they got inside leverage over there on Dallas Elliott, he's just not going to get open. And it's a fumble. It's a fumble. What did I say? Georgia goes man-to-man coverage. We are not going to be able to throw it. I'm assuming they're going to run here. Nice little toss. Nothing we can't handle, though, on 2nd and 9. Motion coming across the field. I don't think it's anything to worry about. They got us pulling underneath. And our Palms coverage did an okay job. Though I do think we were pretty out of position. They're most likely just going to run this one. Gunnar Stockton keeps it. I think it's time for a punt, Georgia. That was actually really ideal. They might have gotten a stop on us, but we also got a stop on them. We should have had more. Brandon Hood still looking really solid for us. I am sure that they think the run is coming. And they did. They had way too many guys in there. We got a wide receiver screen that Massey did an awful job of running with. It just feels like we're about to get held to another 3 and out. Halfback draw to Brandon Hood. And Brandon Hood is so close to the marker. Oh, he still fights. You know, whenever coaches run that in real life and they got their halfback draw out there for those 3rd and longs, I think it's an awful play call. It makes me so frustrated. But it did just work for us there. We're also going to pull out of 4 verticals just to see if there's anywhere for Zach Lawrence to go. I mean, this is his biggest run of the season. We also get to see the Bulldog over there on the sideline. I mean, how can you be upset with Georgia looking at that? You know, as much joy as women bring me in life, animals, especially dogs, just bring me a lot more. But at the top of that list, it might be Brandon Hood that brings me the most joy if he can put us into the end zone. I don't like that he's taken off of the field. I know he's already gotten a lot of carries in this one. Andy Arnaud just doesn't have that aura to him. He doesn't have that running back build that you think is about to go for a touchdown against the Bulldogs. He's just too slow for it. Brandon Hood is going to have to really accelerate to the outside here, and we got it. We got the first touchdown against Georgia. Up to this point, I think it's safe to say we've outplayed them. Surprisingly, this game has just not been a safety issue for our guys. We're biting down with Daniel. They could hit us over the middle for a huge gain, but we're willing to risk that. Maybe we shouldn't have been willing to risk that. I thought we'd get in some pressure a little bit quicker than that. Also, what are the odds that Georgia has a route perfectly set up for that situation? The reason I like using the safety over the middle is typically, if I bite down, I'm not giving up touchdowns there. But sure enough, they were able to take advantage. And I have only one player I'm looking for on 3rd and 15. I'm going to stare him down because I feel like there's nowhere else we could go. The fact that we had so much momentum up until we just gave up a huge touchdown easily is really, really upsetting. We're not going to be biting down with the safety anytime soon. Instead, we had a blitz out there. We don't make the tackle either. Georgia cannot score fast again. How is he still on his feet, man? It's 14-7. Chauncey Bowens just wanted it more. The mental hit that this is going to take to this team is impossible to overcome. I really don't know how we bounce back from this. We're waiting on our drag underneath, and that'll make it 3rd and 5. Enough of throwing the football, though. It is time for Brandon Hood to go off. Halfback toss out into space. I mean, he could not have gotten blocked worse. We were just set up for failure, and this punt, it's going to be a really good return for them potentially, where this kid's got speed. This kid has a lot of speed. What are you doing running away from him? Sokovie White-Hilton is this same player that had that opening touchdown off of the huge passing play. We have seen how quick he can be already once in this game. It's time for a response. Look at Dallas Elliott staying on his feet. I still cannot believe how fast the returner just was there, though. It lets me know that stopping him as a receiver or punting is bad. It is such a physical mismatch that we're most likely better off just kicking straight out of bounds. We're actually going to run with Zach. He got a lot more time back there than I was thinking he would. And we had it. We had the slant. I was throwing it. You have to make those decisions so much faster, though, than Lawrence did. He didn't have the mental speed for it. Mental speed being important. And we're not going to hit a kick from this far away. We got to convert. It is 4th and 7 somehow. Brandon Hood can't truck through him. Just mistakes that we can't be making against the Bulldogs is the summary of how this game is 21-7. A lot we can learn from, though. That's for sure. No points before the half. I really think McGill could even come away with an interception if they try and test him up the seam. Though, we get it with Sek still. Instead, hang on, return this all the way, and we're right back in this game. Okay, at the very least, we need to get a field goal out of this drive, which is why I wanted to hand it off. But that very clearly did not get us any closer, which is why we're throwing it to OG next. He's the consistent target we can lean on, and that is just going to have the distance. So we're only trailing by 11 points. It's a shame that this game isn't closer than that because I feel like it really should be. And that type of tackle on Sokovie White-Hilton is not going to be ignored because if we didn't immediately bring him down, he was most likely just going to gash our defense like this. Right now, he is the Bulldogs' favorite threat to go towards. How did we not get there first? It's Sokovie making another catch. We're actually going to send in a blitz. We've not sent in many of them this season, but it was worth a chance. Sure enough, Sokovie White-Hilton brings it in. He is not out there on the field for this play, though, so I'm going to run commit. I'm expecting a run. Sure enough, that's what it was. We can learn a lot just from watching one player. We have some zones. We got him manned up. Everybody else, we're going to make Gunnar Stockton feed it elsewhere on the field. And I am desperate to hold Georgia to just 3. What we really need is some bad decision-making from the Bulldogs. They got way too much time back there. But you know what? It is 3rd and 7. We're watching over the middle, and I've given up the hitch. Gunnar Stockton looks like he's going to scramble, and he is in the end zone. Unfortunately, the stop that we were hoping to get against Georgia has not come. So we are going to go back to the air, and it's just not accurate. On 3rd and 6, maybe we can get it out to OG a little bit better here. It was placed right on the money. And I'm actually most excited this season about what happens during the offseason, not what happens on the field. As nice as it would be to see us pick up a win, what we are really going for is just building this team up for next year with players like OG on the roster, drawing a PI penalty, helping this drive stay alive for a little bit longer. Though we should probably double check what his deal breaker is at the end of the season on whether or not he's going to stick with us. 2nd and 12, underneath is just going to be there. They were guarding the deeper route, but that's why we can't trust any of our other tight ends besides OG. Are we really trying to run it with Zach Lawrence? You know what? He made it there. He got us the first down, and we're going to get a good bit on the ground. Georgia is going to come out very aggressively, though, to stop the run, which is why I wanted to cut it to the outside, and it's just not there. It's a disastrous decision, making it 3rd and goal, which we're going for it on 4th and goal. As much as I would like to get things back within 2 possessions, it would be the smart decision. I don't see us stopping the Bulldogs anyway, which is why we're just going to hit OG. I mean, they could have caught that. And I don't want to cause too much of an alarm, but there was an injury timeout for Zach Lawrence. By the time we get the football back, he might not be our quarterback, which means he might not be our quarterback next week against Pitt. If he is out against the Panthers, that is going to be an atrocious visit week. But we have to get the ball back in the first place to even find out how injured he is. That could happen on this 3rd and 7. I doubt that they're going to have a streak up the seam, which is why we have bit down with McGill. And it is time for the moment of truth. Are we going to be stuck using a 52 overall quarterback for the rest of the season? Well, Zach Lawrence is not out there on the field, so I guess we are going to be stuck with it. But fortunately, we checked the injury report, and it is just an ankle bruise. For the rest of this game, we might as well see what 52 overall Cliff Jewell can do with the football. He had a read that was open there. But the former 1-star recruit isn't exactly the most enticing piece of talent we got on this team. And even through all the struggles we've had, Brandon Hood has rushed for over 100 yards in this game. Lawrence is back out there, by the way, and it's another flag. We're being saved. The game not over. We would need a miracle, 18 points in the final 4.5 minutes to win, but we actually got open there. What a catch! To bring that one in is just remarkable. But Dallas Elliott wasn't out there for that play. Jewell was also in at quarterback. I don't know what happened, but he is now out there. I guess even though Zach Lawrence made a great throw, he got hit on it, so Cliff Jewell has to close out the game. We're barely getting open. Without Dallas Elliott, we would not be moving the football, though there's a holding call, so it's coming back. And we don't even have the size to consider this, but at some point, you just have to throw the football up. Our best chance at converting here is probably just letting Dallas Elliott go at it. We didn't have the time. So at the end of the day, you can just chalk it up to another loss on our schedule. I still feel like we're improving a little bit every week. We just haven't been able to put all of it together. For 5-star receiver Bryce Kroom, it might feel pointless to be going after him, but we do have one of the better pipelines for the schools pursuing him. And I wanted to point out that since our hard sell is not good enough, we're just going to soft sell, and then we're going to sway to try and change it up. It might not be effective, but it is our only chance at signing a 5-star at UMass. We're putting all of our NIL budget towards him. Pittsburgh's about to come to town. He's on a visit for this game. And let's see what we're going to have to face off against. They got a really, really solid linebacker, Kenny Johnson at receiver. Eli Holstein has stayed there, and he is actually the starter again. Plus, if they decide to run the ball a lot, they have the speed to gash our defense. Compared to some of the other rosters we have played this season, though, this is the weakest, which is why we have brought out the black jerseys. And another thing to note for this matchup is it's raining. This is what I imagine all of the Northeast Coast looks like most of the year. Maybe it's not, but I'm pumped up for this matchup. 1st and 10, you know exactly where this is going. They were all over it. I think Pittsburgh might be aware that if we get the run going on the ground, we might be able to keep things competitive. That throw behind OG doesn't matter. We're set up to move the chains, and this should have honestly been a quarterback sneak instead of handing it off, but it still got the job done either way, and we can't jet out of there. On 2nd and 9, looking underneath, we have OG once again, and we're going to let Brandon Hood take the next carry for 5. If you haven't picked up on it yet, that is our entire offense. It is those 2 players. He's not getting open on this corner route, but I want to give him a chance to bring it in anyway. It didn't feel like the worst idea in the world. This might be 4-down territory. They are going to stick with the bubble. Nowhere for Brandon Hood to go. Though it is 4th and 8, so we actually are going to punt the football. We just don't know what Pittsburgh offense is going to look like yet. This is an awful punt, by the way. We've been able to get some stops against these bigger programs, so I just have this random faith that we can do the same against the Panthers. That throw wasn't even amazing. I don't love that it seems like they're going with a lot of hurry up, though, because our guys are going to get gassed so much quicker. Our facilities are an F grade for a reason. It's a run on 3rd down, and we were in there. No way. No way. 3 hit sticks finally bring him down. Our senior Tyler Martin just disappointed me, but it's all right. That is why you punt the football, because if we didn't do that, who knows how much differently things could have gone there. We also got a return, putting us about where we were at. This game might be all about field positioning, and there's just nowhere to run. I really think we could pull off the win, though. I have faith in this roster to do it. Mainly, I have faith in Brandon Hood there. We just can't keep getting these 3rd and inches because one of these days, Pittsburgh is going to stop it, and I'm going to be really frustrated. I do think it makes sense to stay out there on goal line for one more run, though, just because we have seen this halfback toss go for a big touchdown in the past. Except there, it just lost us 7 yards. And we're not getting much of it back. This halfback draw is an awful decision as well. I don't like the look of it, but here we go. We didn't know what to do. At least we should get a better punt this time around, especially if this one takes a bounce. It did. Not very far, though. Almost through the entire first quarter. Nobody having success on offense yet. And that's the second time they've looked underneath to their tight end. So far, deep coverage has been okay. Jet touch pass to the outside. It felt like we were there with Tyler Martin. And this is it. This is that third down stop. Once again, we're going to spread our defensive line, hopefully have them generate some pressure. There's no way that this works. SWAT, SWAT, great play. That is back-to-back drives where we have stopped Pittsburgh. It is our offense that really has to get things going. Maybe we get some blocks here. Come on, Pedro. I know he only has like 85 speed, but just imagine if he had more. He'd be a better returner. And that's actually made me consider why we don't have Massey back there as our returner, because he is the fastest guy on our offense. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's 1 speed faster than Brandon Hood, who's already at 92. Though he has 10 rushes for 5 yards in this game, it's the worst that we've run the football, yet we're surprisingly still in it. Somebody else is going to have to step up, and we know who those somebodies are. It's Dallas Elliott and it's OG. OG's going to be blocking for us on this 3rd and 1, which he helped us enough on. We're going to go back to Brandon Hood for a few more, but at some point, we do need to pull out a pass. And the curl route can't be caught. With it raining as hard as it is, I don't even know if this is field goal range for us. We're waiting underneath. We're going to put it straight in Elijah Pedro's hands this time. And the drive against the Panthers is going to continue. Massey's actually coming around for this jet touch pass, which means our fastest player has the ball in his hands. He's not that fast. And if Pittsburgh sends the dogs here, we're in some trouble. I had a quick read, planned out, it's dropped. The fact that we couldn't execute for more than a field goal that doesn't even go the distance. Are you kidding me, Abrams? I know it's raining. What went wrong there? I have to analyze this one. Was it the hold? It might have been the hold. I mean, did he hit a puddle? What could have possibly caused this ball as a college kicker to go nowhere near? It doesn't even make sense to me. Now Pittsburgh's just going to take all the momentum. So far, they haven't even picked up a first down in this game, but they're sure getting it here. And we had them. We had the Panthers right where we wanted them. It felt like we were going to just coast our way into the end zone. They're going for a deep play. Eli Holstein decides to run. I really can't tell how comfortable he is back there, though. Looks like he's going to keep it. We can't force a fumble. And this is it. 3rd and 10. We could get Pittsburgh right off of the field, though he scrambles for so much. How is this kid still on his feet? Maybe they're not going to be able to hit a field goal either, though. That's something we got to consider. They could be just as bad as us whenever it comes to kicking. We've left the running back open in the flat. That's a great tackle. Raheem Sextol is getting all of the credit there, and I'm expecting a draw. It won't matter, though. We just didn't have the numbers in the box to stop him at all. It's really been our offense in this game that's been so bad. If we could have scored some points, it is a completely different game, but instead, we're going to have 0 at the half unless we march down the field with a minute left. Scooping this up. Stop running backwards. Pittsburgh is, of course, going to burn a timeout, and I'm about to just throw it back shoulder to Dallas Elliott and hope for the best. Though, we might also have the crosser. Pedro lays out for it. It's just not good enough, and I think they're in field goal range. I thought they were in field goal range. Great bounce off of the punt. We're diving for the tackle. We can still prevent them from getting more points to end this first half. All they did was go to a check down. And I actually love that defensive look. We're sending 5. We're trying to get the pressure in on Pittsburgh, though it is going to keep giving up the flats. Here's the thing, though. If they don't convert, they will have to punt. I don't know how our defense just got flipped around like that, but it's going to give up a touchdown. Why is that still in the game, EA? Why? This went from being a competitive, close one to it being over by the end of this half. No way. We make this throw on the run. Oh, my gosh. Zach Lawrence has done it. He said, you know what? F it. We are just going to have Dallas Elliott down there somewhere, and we need another good throw from him. That's only getting us 5. I am really, really tempted to just take a shot to the end zone before we settle for a field goal. We can't hang on. And it's telling me Deon Abrams can hit from here, but we watched him completely miss the last kick. So a little bit nervous. That one's got better power. It's still not far enough. This half has just honestly been heartbreaking. I know it says 14-0. I know it feels like we're out of it, but we played them close. And I've not forgotten, we got Boston College coming up next. That game is another one that we should be able to potentially win. Though it will be on the road, just something to keep in mind. Tyler Martin, we forcing a lurk? No, they're testing Sextol, and Sextol goes up and catches it. He has been our best cornerback. If the sophomore decides to leave our team at the end of the season, if Raheem decides that he would rather play elsewhere, I'm actually going to be devastated because he's been making tackles for us. Now we're back in this game. I wish that cut up was better. That was honestly a touchdown waiting to happen. The throw needs to be on target. Brandon Hood is not the best pass catcher, so if he has to adjust his body to make the catch, it's just not happening. I think Pittsburgh's cheating as well. I wanted to run a fake punt here, but they motioned someone over. So it's like they know the fake punt's coming, and I really don't care. I don't care. Truck. UMass is testing my patience. There's a reason nobody wants this job. Nobody wants to come here. Pretty sure they don't pay their coaches very well either, despite having more money to spend. I'm telling you, not very many positives I could find online about the UMass football program. All they really seem to care about at this school is hockey. Hand it off. Pittsburgh's going to be up by 21. At some point this year, we are going to find the way to get to a win. But realistically, if our offense doesn't step things up, it's not happening. I think our defense actually played really well in this one. We're going to set our feet before hitting Massey underneath. And I just wish we could take one shot down the field. We are. The idea is if they leave Massey in single coverage, we were going to go towards it. But the Panthers were smart. They had safety help. They didn't leave our fastest guy just pressed, even though I don't know if he would have gotten open either way. Great cutback from Hood. And I feel like this is just a great opportunity to pull out the play action or take a sack. The crowd noise is dead in this game, by the way. No one cares. They're all contemplating what they're even doing here, if they should stay in the downpour, or if this one's just over. I don't blame them. It feels like it is, so much so that we're just going for it on 4th and 15. It's cover 2. What a pass once again. The connection between Dallas Elliott and Zach Lawrence is off the charts. That should have been intercepted. If we're just being real, I think Zach Lawrence at this point in the game has lost it, though he places it on the money. Carswell, first catch of the season, and it's going to be a touchdown. Maybe we need to see a little bit more out of Jamie Carswell this season. That's something we just discovered against Pittsburgh. If we hit Eli hard enough, he should fumble, or he's going to stay on his feet. But I don't care. We're getting aggressive. We are sending 7, maybe 6. I wanted to make sure we could try and cover stuff underneath. And I feel like one thing you cannot criticize about this team is our tackling. We have been incredibly effective most of the year. Get off of the block. Eli Holstein is rushing for like a 70-yard touchdown. I have to say, with the Panthers in field goal range, it feels almost hopeless. Jules Goff just gets another touchdown. You know who I'm looking at, though. We're looking at Dallas Elliott. If he gets double covered, we're going to look elsewhere. But we tried to stare him down there. And I just have no hope. I genuinely have no hope. Does Massey have him beat? Oh, we got to catch that. It's time for a 4th down play with Zach Lawrence. He's going to face a 4-man rush, and he is throwing it straight to Pittsburgh. It really wouldn't get much better from there. We're lucky the Panthers didn't score more than they could have at the end. They didn't run it up. And we're only going to get one commit that week. It's not the 2-star quarterback. It's so weird that we're going this aggressively after J.R. Brees. That loss is actually going to cause us to lose this battle. I'm going to stop putting hours into him because we're not going to be able to beat out the pipeline without a hard sell. And we also have not been able to sway Bryce Kroom. We're probably wasting hours trying to sign a 5-star receiver if we don't get the visit bonus. I guess Stephen Goodwell is another option we're going to have at the quarterback position, though he cares about playing time. He's not going to appreciate that he won't see the field here. And if we look at other prospects that we're putting hours into, a couple of these guys are just athletes that could be on our defensive line. We also got a free safety, which is nice. We need defensive backs. We really need to sign this JUCO sophomore corner. And there is still a world where we bring in a 4-star linebacker to UMass. He's on a week 10 visit along with some of these other corners and defensive backs, which is going to give him a bonus. It's during a bye week, which is a plus, but we're about to start scouting around our region and see if there are any other prospects that we can go after. I think most of them are going to end up being 2-stars. I would also like to point out there are states like Maine where there are no prospects available. There are states like New Hampshire where there are 2 total prospects available. One of them already committed somewhere. This guy, a receiver. Do we need a JUCO that UConn also wants? Vermont, another state where we have almost no options. I'm sure Rhode Island is the same. That's the struggle with recruiting in the Northeast. Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York are where a lot of the prospects I'm scouting are coming from, but we also need them to have deal breakers that can cause them to stay with the Minutemen. And just to sign another cornerback, I'm offering a scholarship to a 1-star corner. You'll also see 2 3-star edges, which sounds nice on paper, but they care about pro potential, which is just going to drop, and they're going to want to transfer a couple years into their career. I am not finding much success when it comes to recruiting. Also, when it comes to on the field, though, Boston College is our best opportunity yet. It's the first rival that we're facing. They have nobody above a 90 overall, but I have noticed that they do have a good running back. They got a good receiver. Dylan Lonergan, pretty sure he was at Alabama at one point, and he could be trouble to stop. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school. Accuracy, not the best in the world, 85 speed. We will see what ends up happening, but we desperately need something to go our way. Luckily for us, in recent years, Boston College has really struggled. So I feel like we have a shot at this in-state game, the in-state rivalry, for the best team in the state of Massachusetts. Returning kickoff, going nowhere. But I am still going to be confident, even though they beat us by 19 the last time we played. They also lead the all-time series 24-5, but you have to think, UMass has only been FBS for like 15 years, so a lot of those losses probably came at the FCS level, and we were waiting on that block. Brandon Hood could have potentially had so much more. You can already see the drop-off. Boston College's defense is nowhere near what some of the other defenses have been that we face. So even though they are still much better than we are on paper, I feel decent about our odds. On 2nd and 5, they're going to bring in some pressure, but we're just going to be patient. We're going to hit Dallas Elliott. And that did not work out well for us. We're going to look underneath, though, and find Brandon Hood for the next play. Only a couple minutes in, 4 first downs already, moving the ball kind of effectively. No chance at this run going for anything. Their defensive tackle was able to immediately get free. Are they ready for our first halfback screen? Typically, you get a couple of those before they start to stop them well. And we have a bubble. We have a streak that we could hit, or we could just run this football. That has to be PI. We have no choice but to go for it on 4th down, and we're going to secure catch it. I cannot risk OG not catching the football there. We got one of our blocking tight ends in for this play, so the run, I was ready for the outside. I thought we might get a little bit. It just wasn't the case. They've brought a lot of guys over, but they weren't ready for the bubble to our tight end, who gets the first. Why Matthew OG is in as our slot receiver for that play, I could not tell you, but it worked out in our favor anyway. We pitch it to Brandon Hood. He makes 2 defenders miss. He is in the end zone, and that is what you need out of a rivalry if we're going to win our first game. It doesn't even matter to me that we could lose every other game on the schedule. If we beat our rivals, them in UConn, that is enough. Though they do have Turbo Richard at running back too. I'm pretty sure he's got like 94 speed. We got him out of the portal in a rebuild before. First tackle, he breaks, but that's better than him breaking like 4 or 5. They have the slant underneath, and we gave it up. I was willing to see if Lonergan was going to take it or not. They might look up the seam here, which would be great for baiting them into a pick. Not going far. Just getting a few yards at a time versus us, and if this is a run, I thought we were going to get in there with McGill, but instead, they're out in the open field. We're lucky Turbo Richard didn't just take that one to the crib. They got me to bite down. Luckily, they only went to the flat. That could have gone far worse for us than it did. No run here. We got match coverage, but we're just not guarding that. Tough first quarter for us defensively. We've made sure they can't get a big play on us, but we haven't been able to stop the short stuff, which is why we're going with quarters coverage here. What a tackle. 2nd and 6, play action, and they got him. Every read from Dylan Lonergan has just been on the money, but we were able to shoot through that gap on the run. They run to the outside here. They lose a few, and this is perfect. 3rd and goal. We just can't give up. A touchdown. What are we doing? I had everyone playing back, and we just didn't play exactly where I wanted them. So it doesn't matter. We could have held them to a field goal. We didn't, though our blocking looking all right here. Just not feeling great about this 3rd and 1 look. They have a lot of guys up there on the line, and we're not converting. We have to punt the football. It's 4th and 2. If we went for it and didn't pick it up, it would not go well for us, but it was a really nice punt. And are we going to have an answer for this Boston College offense? That's really going to be the difference maker in this game. I feel like when we make the right decision to punt the football, we're rewarded with it sometimes. Dylan Lonergan, though, once again, just on top of it, and this could have been a huge play over the middle. What are we doing? I have just glazed Sextol all year, but Raheem gives up the touchdown. And that's going to leave us 3 minutes left on the clock to potentially drive down the field and tie things up before halftime, though it might happen right here as it looks like we're gone with Hood, his biggest rushing touchdown of the year. A Brandon Hood 72-yard house call is exactly what we were hoping for. We had a guy right there. He just wasn't manned up on that receiver, or it should have been an interception. Though look at freshman Jerry Washington making the play. 3rd and 5. We're actually going to pass commit because we can assume they're probably throwing the football here. And I actually called a timeout just for one reason. I said I needed to do this earlier where we make Kenyon Massey our returner, and it's no longer Elijah Pedro. With a good return at the end of this half, it could really set us up to take the lead into the third quarter. And we probably need about 30 yards to be in field goal range. Brandon Hood already getting a fourth of it. He's got 2 touchdowns, 121 yards in this game on just 11 carries. He's looking to get even more. And the best part is we've not thrown the football in a little bit, so I am pretty certain we pull out play action, we're going to have an open Dallas Elliott for a sizable gain. Still a minute left on the clock. We have to be a little bit more worried about the clock now. And we got OG on a slant if they really bit down at the run, but they didn't. We are going to get all the way to the 10. This might actually be my favorite play I have found in this playbook so far. We have yet to throw on it. It's always been a handoff. That one where we had our third stringer in, actually, and it's a fumble. It's a fumble. Scoop it up. We scoop it up with Hood and get out of bounds. I cannot believe that we almost just lost the football there. We need to be very careful on 3rd and goal. Is that placed well? You've got to catch it. Elijah Pedro just let us down so hard right there. The kick just snuck in. And let's start this third quarter strong. It's a run. Boston College has nowhere to go. We want Turbo Richard to feel that way. Now they just go for a quick drag. Another good tackle. This is it. 3rd and 6. I assume they're going to have an in route there. Is he short of the marker? He is. What an insane spot to go for it, though. I'm not sure we're prepared for it. We have got to call a timeout. I typically don't see him go for it from there. And since we took that timeout, they thought about it for a second time. I wasn't prepared for a fake if they wanted to pull out the fake. But no, Boston College has given it back to us. And this is where we've got to step on the gas. The Eagles have already won 3 games this season. I mean, this is not an easy win. I don't care that Boston College went like 2-10 in real life this season. We have a chance to beat one of our rivals. Oh my gosh. You know, I'm going to look back at that, and I probably can't justify the read. But what I can say is Zach Lawrence was supposed to put this hard and inside, except he threw it wobbly high and towards the outside. His accuracy just really cost us, though. We should have been running the football again. McGill with the pick. This team just has no quit. Well, in this game, we have no quit. And we need Elijah Pedro to be feeling a little bit better. I know he dropped that touchdown at the end of the first half, but we're getting the ball back in his hands. He's young. He's a freshman. We have to show him that we can still trust him. Speed option, quick pitch. They're all over it. So this could be where defense comes alive, but I also think we might have the slant. We have the drag underneath. Massey hangs on, and it's never a good idea for us to pull out a deep passing play since we don't have much success doing it. But I did imagine that throw from Zach Lawrence was going to be much better than what we just got. We got a counter run coming up, and we're still going to take advantage. That gives Brandon Hood 148 rushing yards on the day. I'm just not sure how I feel about rushing to this right side of the field here. They have one of their star corners over on that side. Brandon Hood can't get around him. And you see who's out there for 3rd and 3. I almost want to throw this football now that we don't have Brandon. It's probably 4 down territory anyway. I think we had OG, but Zach Lawrence steps up, and we just got to be calm. No interceptions, no need to force the ball. We are still in control. That's where we've made most of our mistakes this year. 2nd and long, we're just going to keep it on the ground. No need to throw it. The cutback did not help. And I really want Dallas Elliott on a slant here. We finally got him there. I would consider this 4 down territory because we're sure not kicking a field goal. Underneath, we got Elijah Pedro. We might even go over to Dallas real quick on this next play. They're all over him, but we have to finish off this drive. I'm not feeling great about a 3rd and 12. Got to make that throw quicker. But you know what? It's not raining, so this should be a solid kick, which would put us up by 6. With a quarter left to play, the pressure all shifts over to our defense, which is actually where we feel a little bit more comfortable. We got freshman edge rusher Jerry Washington getting off of the edge. He has the sack, so I think it's about to be like 2nd and 18. Even better, 2nd and 21. We're going to give up some underneath stuff, which is fine. They can get like 7 back. The idea is they just have a 3rd and long. It's all that we were hoping for. It's another sack. Jerry Washington is actually turning into such a stud. Boston College having to punt it back to us, and us being near field goal range just off of getting a decent return, hopefully, is really nice. And they have all of those guys up there on the line. We break the first tackle with Brandon Hood. He's still fighting too. So it makes it 2nd and inches, and we're not even going to have to pull that on the read option. I can't believe they're worried about Zach Lawrence keeping it. Not a great run there. And he's always a little bit of a letdown. We haven't pulled out the tight end screen, though, in a few games. How much film have they watched? Clearly a decent bit. 3rd and 11. We got to laser that and just hope for the best. They broke it up. On the bright side, a good punt here. And they're going to be starting this drive at like the 10-yard line. So do we let Dylan Lonergan and Boston College march 90 yards down the field? I would like to think not. That's a drop right there. We are going to mix in some match coverage now because that was just some zone. And the man-to-man principles really, really hurt us. 2 missed tackles. 2 missed tackles. Their tight end, Ty Lockwood, has been their best player. So we're going to have to watch him. That was a really nice cut from 14. And I'm actually going to be the user, though it's a pass. So no man-to-man coverage. Ty Lockwood's not out there for this play. I felt comfortable in man-to-man coverage because of it, but I think we know what is most likely coming here unless we could make the tackle on Turbo Richard. It would be really nice to get lucky with a block kick here, but we didn't. So all the pressure is on us to just get a field goal. UMass hasn't won a football game in a year and a half, but if we can have some success off of this drive, they could. We have one star player we can lean on, and it's not quarterback Zach Lawrence. No, it's Brandon Hood, our running back. Brandon Hood gets another 10. By now, he has 175 rushing yards, and he's going to keep getting touches. I feel like Kenyon Massey could do something with this bubble screen, though, putting us at the 40. I just don't trust our ability to kick unless we're inside the 25-yard line. Dallas Elliott isn't open. Oh, my gosh. I always make bad reads. I suck. I know, but this game's not over. It is really, really hard being this bad at the game. You would think at some point I'd get a little bit better. Now we need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Just no reason to force it there on the last drive. We're awful at throwing the ball through the air. This team is not built for it. So I actually don't mind a 3rd and 2 run. If we could cut this to the outside, we could have been gone with Brandon Hood, except instead we lost so many yards. This game's over. 4th and 8. We're going to lose yet another game with UMass. This rebuild has been the impossible one. They could just take a knee. There was nothing that we could do. And so I think that takes Boston College to 25-4 in this series. Maybe it's 25-5. Either way, we have 5 more games to pick up a win if we're going to get one this year. And all of our opponents are top 8 besides UConn. I shouldn't have ever stopped putting hours into Bryce Kroom either because, as I can see, Virginia and Pitt aren't getting much of an impact on him. So we should have just kept sending the house. Absolutely zero reason for a hard sell. And let's look at Jerry Washington and what he cares about. He cares about playing time, so the 1-star recruit should be here throughout his entire career. None of his stats really stand out. He's just been our best rusher, and in our receiving core next season, we aren't going to have Elijah Pedro. He cares about coach prestige. Ours is an F. He needs a C, so the freshman receiver is going to be gone. This is why we need to care about guys like Jamie Carswell. Although I have to admit, I didn't realize he was a 1-star recruit with only 81 speed. This team is just in a lot of trouble. We're winless going to Alabama, who's undefeated. And we had it. We really did. We had our opportunity to pick up the win that we've been looking for. We just couldn't close out. First return of the game is still going to Elijah Pedro, even though he's our 2nd kick returner. Sometimes they get those on the returns. Zach Lawrence cannot have picks. I won't lie. If we can find somebody in the transfer portal to replace him from the Northeast, I will be looking. This was supposed to have play action on it. No one's open. Brian Denny is literally going crazy right now. You all are playing UMass midway through the season. You shouldn't be facing a team like us. On 3rd and 1, we have absolutely zero chance. Zero chance of picking this up on the ground. Hang on. Can we please audible for a second? We are so open over there. It's not even funny, but we can't get the audible off. We can't get the audible off. We would have a free touchdown. We're just going to have to run this football, and it won't be there. It was really, really bad decision-making by them to come out with a coverage like that in the first place, but they got bailed out. Somehow, I couldn't tell my receiver just to run a streak. I just realized I was dreading this matchup so much as well that we didn't even check their roster. I've kind of just accepted we're probably going to lose this game. Ty Simpson's still at quarterback. I see Ryan Williams out there on the field. There he is, getting 20 yards. But maybe we'll be able to get a stop anyway. They also have Jeremiah Cobb at running back. We're waiting for the bubble because that's something I could read. They just had another guy open. Ryan Williams already snagging 2 catches. Ty Simpson keeps it, and we've just saved the touchdown. I genuinely think our diving tackles are some of the best in the country. Underneath, we just couldn't get over to Cobb. How is he staying up? We're trying to fly into these guys. We can even run commit here. We knew that it was going to be one. 2nd and goal. Ty Simpson must see something that he likes. If this is a pass, we're in a lot of trouble. And I mean it. It's a run. No, it is a pass. Are you kidding me? Flawless drive. It's been a flawless season from the Crimson Tide, so can't even be surprised by that. Probably going to knock the ball out. Maybe not, though. Do we have this RPO? I feel like we've thrown a lot of picks on these. What are we doing? How many times am I going to say that about this team where we just, like, hit the football? We don't even look like we're trying to catch it. 3rd and 10, Zach Lawrence, time to step up and be great here. we didn't. And so it is another punt that is going to go for a decent bit since they didn't get to the ball in time. It's rolling all the way back to the 15. But that doesn't help us much if they're about to drive 86 yards down the field anyway. We could really use a 3 and out. We would have good field positioning to start our next drive. And it feels like a real possibility. 3rd and 4. Gotta watch underneath. Hit him. Is Ryan Williams short? He is. Just like that, Kenyon Massey is going to have an opportunity for a big return, though they're just faster. It would be so much more feasible if we were just facing off against schools that weren't as talented as the schools we are. But that is part of what makes this impossible. It's going to be hard. I also just found out that since New Year's Day and Christmas Day are both on Thursday, I'm not getting trash pickup for 3 weeks. I don't know how that's even feasible. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all the trash. Not that it has anything to do with this UMass dynasty, but I'm just thinking about that logistically now. We are on a 3rd and 19, by the way. I'm just sending up a prayer. Maybe we can get a flag or something. Not catching it in double coverage. That's a 3 and out for us. It happened extremely quick, and Alabama is going to catch this one. I was sitting there more worried about when my trash was going to get picked up. Mainly because it's around Christmas time, too. There's going to be a lot more of it. I'm excited. After this video is done being filmed, I get to take off for a few days. And as you can tell, I've not been having a good time. I'm a sore loser, and we're losing a lot. I'm still having a good time trying to figure out how we're going to win, but it'd be a lot better if we could just get an interception. Come on, Tyler Martin. Bro, it like hit him in the hands. He's a senior. I expect more out of him. Not like our offense is going to do anything. It's done nothing in this game so far. We're at the 45 or the 40. I can't tell. Probably the 40 based off where the Alabama logo's at. Anyway, we're just going to hit OG in the flat. Immediate. This is one of my favorite plays to run on this game. Sets up a 2nd and 4. A stretch run to the right side had a lot more potential, but we did nothing with it, and now it's not letting us audible, so I guess we're just going play action here. Get rid of the football. Get rid of the football. I don't even know if it's embarrassing our offense is this bad because we don't have much talent, and we are facing off against some of the toughest teams in the country, but I just want to see us move it a little bit successfully. There's a flag for illegal touching. That'll help us out a little bit. It's a few less yards that the Crimson Tide are going to get there. 2nd and 10. Probably looking for a halfback screen or a tight end screen. Such a good call. They got us biting all over, and I thought they were about to throw that bubble. I am feeling a little bit more confident, though, about our defense once we get some of our guys in here in the future. It'll really be our offense that we're always going to have some troubles with. Only 3 guys in coverage, and he didn't even play his zone. Where that ball was thrown was exactly where Tyler Martin needed to be sitting. I'm not sure why he decided to drop back a little bit extra. We did there too. Just giving up stuff that is meant to be covered. This is a very obvious run. So if they decide to pull out play action, if they decide to throw the football here, could be in some trouble. We missed the sack on Ty Simpson. Oh, Ryan Williams just bouncing off of everybody. I told you all, to win games, we have to play perfectly. With this roster, Dallas isn't open. We're honestly better off just taking things to halftime instead of trying to score, because we're going to give it back to them with plenty of time to get more points. But if we really only given Brandon Hood 6 carries in this game, that feels so low. Typically, he's got like 15 by halftime. All I'm seeing is he needs to be touching the football more than he is. Open, in the flat, that'll get us the first down. And we actually have a wide open Elijah Pedro on the next play. Next, we're going to look for him in the seam. We had to audible there, but if he's not underneath, OG will be. And I actually really like some of these plays that we're pulling out here at the end of the half. Decent blocks. Someone's got to pick up 5. Worst case scenario, we just center things up with this run on 3rd and inches. Why do we not have our star in the game? Brandon Hood can come back out on 4th and 1 and just help us move the chains. We need a touchdown if we're going to stay in this one. We only have 15 seconds to get it done. We actually have our hitch wide open, so we're going to find Massey to the 10, and I think we could have him underneath here as well. He's not really open, though. Let's just force it. Okay, so here's the plan. We go for a quick handoff, and then we have one more play to end this first half. It is touchdown or bust. We know what we need to do, and it's going to be OG that we're staring down. He's open. He is open. What a catch. What a throw. I thought he was about to beam that ball into the stands, but he was respectful. He avoided any potential penalty, and Tyler Martin with the play. Very rarely this season do I get to say positive things about the senior linebacker, but right there we can. Anything underneath? Oh, that's got to be box. Now we have everybody protecting the sticks, playing back, 3rd and long. Isaiah Horton doesn't make it there, and we are not out of this game yet. I can't believe it because it felt like Alabama was just going to be able to coast to an easy win. But we ended that first half so strong And Brandon Hood coming out in the second half, getting a chance at a big carry. He hasn't been our only way of moving the football on offense, which is nice, though we're still going back to him. The only reason other stuff on the field even gets open is because teams are so determined to stop him. That's an awful read. It has to be 4-down territory, though, against the Crimson Tide. We're just going to hit OG underneath, and that's 15. 15 yards. That is normally very difficult to come by. I might go underneath to him again if we have the time. Not getting it there. It is just awoken this Alabama crowd. We got it back. Now, I actually really like this play because there's a couple of reads that we could take. Most of the time, though, it's the slant. I just didn't see anything open in that scenario. What else could I have done besides throw an interception? We had to take the sack. Back on the defensive side of things, I'm still not that worried about this Alabama offense. So hopefully we can get Ty Simpson and them off of the field. I don't even know why he had that much time. He is just way too comfortable back there in the pocket. If they go for a deep play on McGill, they might have had it. You know what, though? It is 3rd and 10. Another opportunity to get Alabama off of the field. What a hit! Ryan Williams had already slipped one tackle. He is very hard to bring down in those situations, but we were able to bring him down, and we're at midfield. I cannot believe that we're still in this game, but we are. We just need to start executing on offense, and Dallas Elliott makes it a 3rd manageable. How our blockers do here, though, will be everything. Brandon Hood stood no chance, and we have to go for it. Looks like it's going to be man-to-man coverage. Inside cut. They played it well. Once again, just so close to making something happen, but we cannot execute. It's really frustrating. At least next season, we'll have some of our guys in here that could help a little bit more with that. And this is where things could get ugly. Unless we force a turnover, no matter what, it just became a 2-possession game. Ryan Williams breaking another and another and another. There's no hope. So little hope that I'm looking over at Dallas Elliott and I'm saying make a play to end this 3rd quarter. Make a play. We really stuck in this one for as long as we could. But I think it is another game, another week where we're just going to let everybody down. Is the money we're getting paid to come to Alabama and play this game worth it? I think so, because we can reinvest it in other avenues of the school. But it is a pain at the moment. To have success with your football team, you have to build up a little bit of momentum. You have to be able to win some games. And I don't know if we're ever going to be able to take that first step here. Our offense is still being completely shut down. And even sometimes when we make the right decision to shoot the hole, we can't stop the run. It still feels like we are heating up as a team, though. So I wouldn't be surprised if we could pull off a win at some point this season. We just need that to be an interception, and it's not. We're getting burned. I have seen enough of Ryan Williams. I'm ready for him to just go on to the league. Okay, it's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. It's another number 2 on Alabama just torching. And I want everybody to know that this final score does not tell the full story of this game. At least along the way, we're picking up another 3-star. And I know we pulled out a J.R. Brees, but I did just want to note he did commit to Rutgers eventually. We could still get Bryce Kroom. It's not much of a difference between us and Virginia on the hours. For a couple of these other defenders as well, including 4-star Enrique Cush, they're about to come on a Week 10 visit during our bye week where they have the complimentaries. I'm not even sure he needs it, but we're going to get Cush one more just because it would be great to sign a 4-star in this class. And we're just going to have to wait another couple weeks to find out if we can or not, because we have to get through the Tennessee game first. I find their offense in game to stop so frustrating, especially whenever they're going to have 2 really solid receivers. At quarterback, Jake Merklinger has earned the starting job. But running back wise, another pain position for us to stop, because let's say Deshaun Bishop gets a little bit tired. Well, 95 speed Peyton Lewis is coming in. We're 40 overalls worse than the Volunteers, and we're just trying to avoid a beatdown in front of our fans. I'm really hoping we can figure out a way to do that, because we didn't in some of our previous ones. Even the Alabama game just got way more out of hand than it ever should have been. I like that they took out that kick return though, because they're starting from the 16. Jake Merklinger is just coming off of a quarterback masterclass. That's what they're calling it. We can bring this safety down, but it does lead to the risk of giving up something through the seam. When they're so spread out, I cannot risk giving up either side. Apparently we were offside too. But like I was saying, if we bring Daniel down, 81 could gash us, and I wouldn't even be able to recognize it. Accidentally switch stick there. That's something I should probably get a little bit better at. No runs on this play. They could have looked underneath to the hitch I was guarding, but they didn't. And the best solution to stopping this type of offense for us is going man-to-man coverage. The problem, our man-to-man coverage is horrible, so I don't know how it's going to go. They're sending up a shot. Come on, Clark, get back to the football there. No way. I think they're reviewing whether or not it was a catch, but he clearly held on, took a hit stick, got both feet down, and still made it. It is what it is. Everybody knows that we're probably going to run it on the first play, which is why we threw it. Either way, Brandon Hood probably getting about 5 yards. He is getting a carry on the ground for the next one, cutting it up, and we're just going to have faith in him to continue to eat against this Tennessee defense. Come on, man. No, he was down. He was down. We are pulling out the challenge flag immediately. There is no shot that after a 20-yard run, he just fumbled it away. His knee is on the ground. If they don't let us keep this football, I don't know why we're paying these refs. And there it is. We are still going to be on offense. I knew it. Just not much room for Brandon Hood there. We're not going to have the slant on this play either, but he is exploding across the field to the 5. This is the Brandon Hood game, and everyone would be locked in on stopping the run, except he's not on the field. That could have been picked. Tennessee is probably about to send everybody, which is why I want to get off the slant to Dallas Elliott. Not going to be there unless we're super patient, out of reach. Oh, well, it is 4-down territory anyway. It'd be silly if we didn't at least give Brandon Hood one carry. And let's see if they're going to bring everybody in. We could go for a halfback toss on 4th and goal. See if he can actually finish off this drive for us. It was a stressful one, but he did. Now we have to get our defensive stop. I think manning up one of the linebackers on the slot receiver could be helpful. I really just want to avoid giving up that big touchdown by bringing down our safety. Tight end in the flat. He's not open. He's not. Jake Merklinger should not be allowed to make that terrible of a read. But he gets bailed out because we stink. We have nobody in the box, so if this is a run, might as well just give Tennessee 10 yards. Why? Why can nobody guard anybody in coverage? It's just too easy for Tennessee. We had to work so hard to get into the end zone while they're about to do it effortlessly unless we make that tackle. And we're going to have to watch for the read option, clearly. No way. I will be the first to tell you that should have been a touchdown. 7 on 5. Can't be a run. And we get the screen pass stop. So Tennessee has been held to a field goal that they aren't even going to hit. What a miracle ending to that drive. See, that's the type of stuff that gives us hope in actually pulling off these games. Brandon Hood again, just asserting his dominance. We haven't seen something like this in a couple of weeks, but we need it. I don't think we should be in a rush to get down the field either. We know that the more times our defense is out there, the more they're going to score. And also, we haven't exactly been spectacular on offense. What seems to happen is we put together a couple good drives a game, and then after that, everything just seems to go downhill. Even this drive might. It is now 2nd and 14. Man-to-man coverage. He's so open. Brandon Hood again. If you're talking about some of the most impactful players we have had in Dynasty, he has got to be like top 5. This can't be a flag. It's coming back and it's on OG, but I can't even blame him. I really can't get mad. We switched up the play call on him last second. He had to adjust. Underneath, though, we find Elijah Pedro, and he's going to get us the first down, or close to it. 2nd and inches. We'll run to the outside just to see if we can get a larger gain than we would have. It almost backfired on us. Now we got Andy taking the next carry, but he's getting a nice bit. I might be a little bit too hard on him. We need 6 yards. Can we get that? Oh, we're getting it all on the first play. 5 minutes left in this first half still, so Tennessee could easily respond. But if we could make them work for it, I would be far less upset if they do. That was really on Tyler Martin to guard him. Just physically, it was never, ever happening. Missed tackle there. Somehow, still up. And I really hope that we can just force a fumble. Here on 1st and 10, it's going to be play action. So they're biting down. It's not open. Are you kidding me? Jake Merklinger really does not respect us or care. We were all over that football with Abram. We still can hold the Volunteers to a field goal, though. We know the last time they got down to the red zone, we were able to do it. So here we go. 3rd and 6. It's just such a quick read. There was no way we were going to get out there in time. They have the hitch. Not enough, but that's a lot of what they needed. I'm imagining a run is coming here, so we're just going to run commit up the middle and get destroyed. It's okay, though. They left us about 2.5 minutes left. Maybe we put together a solid drive to end this half as well. If we could just get a run off to that left side and hold our blocks over there, I saw the potential. Are we really going to go with 3 straight runs, though, to end this half? We are. We are. That is what we needed. There was a chance they stopped us there, but that was the right decision to go with. Our streak to OG open. But sometimes Zach Lawrence is the actual worst. I hurried it up. Tennessee isn't calling a timeout because I think they're assuming we're calling a play. But I understand that we're most likely not going to convert here, so we're going to take it down to 1 second on the play clock. We call our timeout. And that way, when we don't get this 3rd and 16, they don't have much time left in the half to do anything. You gotta catch that. When our most reliable receiver is still not making simple plays like that, I don't know what we're supposed to do. We gave Tennessee 25 seconds as well. Are they going to use a timeout? No. That's very important to take note of because as long as everybody's backed up, this is the final play of the half. It's a read option. Jake Marklinger is not going to take this for a touchdown. Just no way. So we are all tied up with the Volunteers. We could win one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game in school history. Any of these games against a top 5 opponent is a chance for that. Considering UMass's best season since coming up to the FBS level is going 4-8, I can't imagine they've beat anyone good. So eventually, those wins are coming. This just is not the way we're opening up this second half, dude. Jordan Ross takes it in. Shout out John Ross, by the way. I don't know why it made me think of John Ross, but shout out to him. If you know, you know. Madden 21 franchise, you're about to torch some of your friends. Let's just step up with Zach Lawrence. Why not? Why not let the 69 speedster go at it? We have beat ourselves so many times this year. And granted, you could say there is a big talent gap. But I just don't like the fact that we're doing stupid stuff like giving up a touchdown to open up the half. They were all over it. 3rd and 2. We're not converting. And after working so hard to get in this position, we are really just blowing up the game if we can't convert on 4th and 5. But let's just be honest for a second. We should not have picked that up. I panicked. I just immediately threw it to Elijah Pedro. He's on the ground. He is on the ground. We picked it up still. I don't even get what's happening, though. What is up with our ball security? There is no reason that he should be dropping this. No one's poking it out. It's just not working for us, what we're doing right now. Jet touch pass helps. But again, this drive should have already ended. If we got an inside zone to this left side, though, I see the numbers. One guy to make miss. Come on, keep going. I wish Brandon Hood finished off the drive. I think we'll still be able to. I mean, that's just, man... I have no words. I could sit here and complain. I could tell you that that was PI because it probably was. But who cares? Who cares if Kenyon Massey, from this moment right here, easily had won that battle and in a second when I pre-timed that throw was going to be open? Who cares if I made the right decision when just a second later, number 7 gives him the elbow, holds him up, and makes this interception happen? Do you see these two useless individuals just watching at the back of the end zone? What were you staring at? You know what? I am making excuses. I said I wasn't going to. I'm not taking accountability. I'm not going to do that. Now I see why women don't. I'm no better at it than any of my exes. Maybe we could hold them on the run, though. We do. So here we go. We just need to switch on over to Daniel because for whatever reason, he doesn't realize that he's playing his zone over on that side of the field. Hawthorne, ready to shoot this run gap. Come on. We had to get a hand on him now that he's getting loose. Oh, we're not making the tackle. We're just not making the tackle. Tennessee's going to be up by 14. If you thought we were going to win this game, I don't know why. Deshaun Bishop just ruined everything. We now need to come away with 14 fast points. And what a shameful ending to this one. I would like to point out, though, even though accountability sometimes just flies over the head, I have some incredible women in my life. It is Christmas time. Christmas cookies are being made, chocolate-covered pretzels. And I'll tell you one thing about me. I cannot resist a sweet. I got a real bad sweet tooth, so they're getting put down. This football season hasn't been kind to me. Probably put on about 15 pounds, but once off-season hits, back in the gym, back to losing weight again. Though then the sweet tooths hit. That's what makes it so hard. Especially, you get hit with, oh, I just want to go get some ice cream or something. You gonna say no? Not me. I'm loading up them extra toppings. It makes her happy. I'm happy then. OG, dropping the ball. Could have been a great start to the fourth quarter, but it looks like we're just gonna fail to get this 4th and 13. I mean, come on. I just knew it wasn't going to work out. I'm so tuned out at this point. I'm over here sitting, thinking about all the great things I'm going to eat for Christmas. I also turned 23 on Christmas Day. I can't say it was the greatest thing as a child to have my birthday then, but you know what? I didn't decide when I was born. I just popped out that time. We're down 21 now. I don't think there's much hope. Maybe we just take a shot down the field and see if it works out, but it can't even be an inbounds throw. We can't do anything right. It's like the entire team plays well in the first half, and then in the second half, they forget how to do anything. Stepping up in the pocket. Okay. Okay, Tennessee, you got it. You got it, man. You got it. We ended up scoring at the very end, but it's just not going to matter. I'm more frustrated at this dynasty than anything that happened in the online dynasty with St. Pete. I miss having guys like Adrian Bean on the team, not to be confused with Alexander Bean. I don't miss him At least we're signing a 4-star here with UMass. Enrique Kush commits. Nobody else did that week. But we did get one step closer to Bryce Kroom coming to our school as well. I really think the transfer portal is just going to have to treat us right, though. 21 points is the most we've scored in a game. We also did it against Oregon. Texas and Ole Miss, #1 in the country coming up. It's really hard to think that we stand a chance in either one of the next two. But you know what? Maybe we still pull off that miracle. I really have to build for us playing at the highest level possible for when the Connecticut game comes up. Because if we don't beat UConn, the whole season's winless. And then you just sat here for 2 hours watching me lose to the computer over and over again. I feel privileged that you would do it with me, though. It's always the end of year where you start to reflect on everything. And it seriously has been the craziest year I've ever had. It is all only possible because of how much support you all have shown on the channel. Like, nothing would happen without how much love you all have shown. You know how cliche I feel, though, just spamming out thank yous? I always will, but I'll say it forever. I think my favorite part, though, of this season was just the amount of travel I got to do this time around. I met a lot more of you than any other year before. So, there's that. And I'm just hoping that continues into the next year. Little check down, not getting them much. Back to the appreciation, though. I know you all aren't watching this in class because it's over the winter break, but the amount of you that tell me that you watch me in class or to just fall asleep is just off the charts. It's probably like 75% of the interactions I have. And what's crazy about that is I can't fall asleep without YouTube. So I fully understand. Nope, we are going into instant replay. There has to be us watching back. I think one of our players is betting on the game. Here we have Daniel, and Daniel is supposed to be covering this half of the field in a deep zone. But what he decides to do randomly, for whatever reason, I don't know why Daniel does this, is once the ball gets thrown at him, he decides to run away from the defender. I just can't even explain it. Somehow quarterback Trey Owens also knew that he was just going to leave him open. So there is only one reasonable way to handle this. We are going to bench Zarian Daniel, the senior strong safety. He will not play on the field ever for us. Moving past that issue, onto another one, Zach Lawrence's season stats. He has not performed too well. We're going to let him hand off this first carry. See if Brandon Hood can hit that next level. Oh my gosh, Brandon Hood all the way. He is gone. That's how you tie the game up. And I am fired up now. We got our defense figured out. We had one of our players betting all season on just giving up points. How are we supposed to get stops whenever we're dealing with that? We can make these tackles. 2nd and 5. Just a quick throw to the outside. That's fine. 3rd and 1s are a great spot for us to get a stop. I'm willing to press under these situations. I'm also willing to bring McGill down. They got us, though. They got us, and normally tight ends don't feel that fast, but this one sure does. Now, Texas just runs it straight up the gut. They're feeling a little bit more comfortable, and they should. I thought a blitz might be nice. That cut was so clean. It just seems like we're not going to be getting the Longhorns off of the field here, but they're literally throwing it straight at us. Like, I don't know what more we could do than have a hard flat just sitting on the receiver. Trey Owens with 0 respect. I gave that out. And so is Brandon Hood going to save us again? Are we about to get another miracle out of him? I would assume probably not. Well, I'm just going to mix in a bubble screen, even though that last RPO didn't pan out well. I don't think we're running into Texas's front 4 with much success. Clearly, we're not going to drop back and pass against it very well either, though. So we just got held to a 3 and out. We've had no answer for the offense. And we even have the benefit of Arch Manning not sticking around on this dynasty file like he's going to next year. Yet we're still getting torched. We literally have a zone that's supposed to be guarding there. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? I think it's time to just continue to reflect on the year now so I don't lose my mind. And I think I got to start with the cover shoot. Going out there this year, getting to do that vlog out there, and just being around basically every great head coach in college football. Sitting there talking to Kirby Smart just off camera for like 10 minutes about random stuff going on in the college football world. Meeting guys like Tim Tebow. It was just one of the most unique things I will ever get to do in my life. And also just getting out to LA, seeing the Rose Bowl for the first time, all of that. I will probably say that was the highlight of the year, but then getting to go down to EA, see the Madden and college football games early, and just really the best part about that trip, hanging out with all my creator friends, because we don't see each other much. Can't go wrong with that. I also moved back to Kentucky from Florida this year to be closer to family. Okay, like, it's over. I've never felt like a game was more over than this one already. Anyway, being back, having family so close has actually been incredible too. So that's another positive. I feel like the whole year was full of positives. Just so much I'm thankful for. I know it's not Thanksgiving, but oh well. Then Kentucky had me out. We got to go down to FIU after doing the series there. We went to the Tennessee-Georgia game. I've gotten to go back to Kentucky a couple of times. Like I went to Rupp to see him play North Carolina in basketball. Also bought part of a business with student seats. Like just so many different things. It's a fumble. It's a fumble. We're back in this game. I'm going to keep being thankful. It has worked out to our benefit. I don't know how there's no reviewing going on there. I thought it was pretty obvious that he was down, but we're about to blow the opportunity that we've been given if we just threw an interception there. I mean, it is already 3rd and 8, and they were calling timeouts. Texas wanted this football back, but OG is going to get us the first. And I think we got to mix in a draw. Let's just slip this one through. Out 9 yards. We're locked in. We got 90 seconds on the clock. We can easily get some points before the end of this first half here. Though I would like to see a little bit more from the offense. Couldn't even get the throw out with Zach Lawrence there. I guess we should just take a shot. Let's see. Let's see. Does Elliott have it in him to bring it in? I really don't think another halfback screen is our answer in this game. I'd actually rather audible over to a run just because I think we'd get more out of it than what's going to happen here. But our blockers are down the field. It's going to be 4th and 3. This is a very long 4 to run the football on. Do we think Texas is expecting a run, though? Because they weren't. We're going to get a lot more. And this is the type of stuff we can take away that we can use against UConn. We don't need to beat Texas for this to be helpful the rest of the year. What a catch from senior Dallas Elliott as well. Now we're just waiting on our crosser. That's 3, though. That is 3 sacks for Texas while we have 0 in this game. And I don't even think this is open, but we threw it anyway. All right, I think Elijah Pedro is our best read here. We're just going to stare him down. Zach Lawrence tries to run, and we have called a timeout. What do we do? 13 yards. Our odds of converting are pretty low. I think we should just take our free 3. It'll get us back within 11. We start the second half with the football, if I'm remembering right. And there's a negative from this year. I have lost half of my memory somehow. I don't know if it's because I just sit there and scroll half the time. I can't even brush my teeth without scrolling. Or maybe it's because I can't sleep without watching something. Either way, my memory sucks. My brain is 100% going to be used in some study one day on the effects of what phones had on it. And I've just accepted. Not much I can really do about it. 3rd and 13. I really don't feel comfortable making many throws out there on the field. Mainly because I knew that was probably how it was going to go for us. Texas gets their 3 and out to start the half. They do. Another thing I find really frustrating. Oh, hang on. Tyler, what are we doing, buddy? Literally the most useless linebacker in the world. You can go ahead and graduate. Anyway, I was going to say, shaving. I always either don't get hairs with my electric shaver. It's just annoying. Or I'll shave too close and I will cut myself. Never perfected that art. So I ordered a shaver. We're going to see if this one changes things. Not sure if it will or not. It's just hard to shave some of the facial hair. Can we make the tackle? Okay, we're good. Another thing I might do, could be crazy, all of the facial hair coming off, and I just go back to a clean shave. Mainly because I've been told that I look like 27, 28 by girls. And it can be a good thing. I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to go back to like looking 16 the second it gets shaved off, and that would not be ideal. But also, I'm still young. I don't want to look like I'm in my 30s. So we'll see. If I ever come on and you're like, what on earth? Where does hair go? That's it. I think at some point, though, just got to lock in and actually make something happen. Another out-of-reach throw. Though I know what the issue is. I have not been running the football. The one thing that we do properly, and we're also not running it here on 3rd down. Of course we're going to drop it, but it is what it is. I'm pulling out the fake. I don't care at this point. We have him open. Can we make it? We got it. We got a fake punt. There is not a better feeling than having that work out. I thought the odds of that working were less than 0. I guess that wouldn't make statistical sense. But Texas has got to be fuming. They thought this was wrapped up. They thought UMass was going to be like a 50-0 win for them. And instead, Brandon Hood comes out and gets another good carry. Surely, though, he was going to have to get a break at some point, which is why we are just going to go under center and hope for a couple yards. Not really expecting much until he is back out there on the field. And this is a hard spot to be in because if we don't pick up this 3rd and 7, we probably need to just kick. Are we going to have OG immediately? We're not. The drag also not enough. But even if we hit this kick, which is not a guarantee, we're still down by 8 points. So we need a 2-point conversion and a tutty. Before any of that, we also need to get a stop. Look at that big old Mountain Dew ad up there on the stadium. Mountain Dew's got their money worth in this game. What do I got to do for a Mountain Dew sponsor? I basically only drink water, but like, I will slap that logo anywhere. I will slap it on my mic. So as we avoid missing tackles, I can't even show you all where I would put it. Trey Owens is gone. I guess no one's catching him. So I would put Mountain Dew like right here. It'd be great promo. Just need someone to get me in touch. I've lost it. At this point, we might as well let Massey try and make the play. Okay, it's a pick. It's over. There's just this acceptance level. When a quarterback runs for 70 yards on you, you're probably not going to beat that score, especially when they're getting that much time. Trey Owens has thrown for over 300 yards in this one. And I don't know about y'all, but there are animals I want in my life. I would love to have a lot of land, get some chickens and stuff. Cow is not one of them. Not trying to diss Bevo in any way. I've just heard that they eat a lot. And I mean a lot of grass. Also, at some point in the next couple months, there better be some sort of animal popping up on screen. I've been putting it off for a minute. I thought I was going to get a puppy, but then one of my best friends got a kitten. And I don't know, it kind of won me over. It'd be a little bit easier to take care of as well. Halfback screen, come on. Come on, Brandon Hood. He had his big plays in this game. We can't rely on him to do everything. OG, 4th and 7, can't even catch it. It's just going to turn into another game that we were never going to win. And I'm already scouting what Ole Miss has. They got two 94, 95 speed receivers that are just going to torch us. They also got a great tight end. Quarterback-wise, Austin Simmons still there. So that's the next team that we're taking on, all before we play against UConn, which is our best chance to pick up a win. I can't say it's often the #1 team in the country would come up to UMass and play a game on the road. And it's already looking like trouble, seeing what Austin Simmons did last week. I'm going to be locked in for this game, though. I'm not going to be thinking about every other thing besides the fact that we are just getting torched on the field. Though those chocolate-covered pretzels upstairs are sounding incredible right now. We got the sack. It's Jerry Washington again as well. Why would I even be surprised? We're guarding that 90 overall tight end. Looks like they might have the deep post open. Garrison can't even come close to getting back to it. So Coleman's in. Why Cam Coleman had to transfer to Ole Miss, I don't know, but it isn't really helping us too much. That sucks. We are a little bit thankful, though, that the whole year we didn't have many injuries. If Zach Lawrence couldn't have stayed healthy on the field, things could have gone so much worse than they did. It's a 3-and-out. There is a certain way that you have to start these games to feel like you could actually take them down. And in the first 2 minutes, we got absolutely none of that. Great run defense from Tyler Martin. If there is something that he can do right, it's that. We're not really watching the seam too well, though. We're going to have to make a diving tackle to avoid the first down. And that's big. It's a great opportunity to get the Rebels off of the field. Except we don't. I should have just been user and over on Clark. See if we could bait Austin Simmons into doing anything dumb. And is it bad? I've already lost some of my patience to the point where we're sending in a blitz early like that. It didn't even get home, which is the worst part about it. We got him. We got it. Hawthorne gets the interception. And just like that, I can hear a little bit of our crowd coming back into the game. Not that we have much hope. Okay. Okay, that is one way to silence them. There is something we have got to take out of our playbook against UConn next week. We cannot have any picks off of RPOs. I would very much so appreciate it if there was no compilation of how many interceptions we have thrown in episode 1 off of RPOs, because I'm pretty sure there's been like 7 of them. Many going for pick sixes, and many ruin any chance that we had at pulling off that win. Even against Ole Miss. Wait, there could be some hope still. We can't get around him too. But Brandon Hood effective on the ground. We're going to go for the fake screen since they want to bite down on those so hard. Of course, that's when it's open. Setting us up for a 2nd and 10 that they immediately got in on. It was Brandon Hood's job to be faster than that edge, though, and he was. Not the right cut. 4th and 1. I think we just hurry it up and we go straight back. It's got to be there. It's got to be there. Now we can read number 13. We can decide if we're going to throw that bubble or if we're going to throw the slant. Not that it was going to get us much either way. It's just a shame that it has taken us multiple failed drives to put together something on offense. Here on 3rd and 4, we're actually going to be looking for OG on for a quick read. He comes down with the catch, and he is in the end zone. But do we believe in our ability to stop the Rebels? I think that's the real question. We're able to stack the box actually really nicely here, where they have nowhere to go on the ground. I just don't know if this is going to work through the air. They got a zig out route. Daniel isn't even going to be able to get over there. That could have been another pick for Hawthorne. Nick's just a sophomore, though, so I'm not going to get upset at him. He'll have plenty of other opportunities to get interceptions in his career. No big return. But the game is far from over. We put together another good drive. We're going to be right back in it. And I almost feel like we could hit our tight end in the seam here. Not really a reason for us to go for verticals, but I figured underneath could still hit Hood. So that's another 1st down. Bubble also not very open. Maybe Dallas Elliott can cut inside and create that separation off of this one. but it's out of reach. So our offense is just dysfunctional at the moment. He can't get over and put a hand on that ball. But it is still 4th and 3. We are going to have to win all of our blocks up front if we're going to convert here. And we're just going to be short. It's like we get our stop on defense. We feel like we could be back in it for a second, but then we make our mistake. And I just can't wait to get some of our own athletes out there on the field for us. It's another one. It's another one. What are these reads from Austin Simmons? For one, I am surprised that Tyler Martin even caught the football, but for two, there was no reason to force that one in there. Brandon Hood getting nothing. That is why we've been resorting to throwing the football a little bit more. Our slant should have been open. Eventually, we hit it, but maybe we just got to come out and run heavy formations. That's what we're missing. This should help us convert. 3rd and 9. I can't believe we almost got it. Just a quarterback sneak away from moving the chains. We did. Though Dallas Elliott got injured on the play, so that's our best receiver just out for who knows how long. Bursting out of there, though, is Hood. If you can hit that flow state with some of these players where they are just accelerating faster than everybody else on the field, they're special. And we have to start being a little bit more cognizant of the clock, if cognizant is even a word. I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. It probably means just paying a little bit closer attention to it. We should have been taking some off because Ole Miss will get another drive no matter what to end this half. And now the most that we can get out of this is a field goal. If we can even do that. Oh, Massey. Okay, 4th and 5. Well, they're actually advocating that we go for it here instead of kicking our 3. Not sure how comfortable with this I am, but I thought I liked the look. He was never open. I'm not sure I've made a worse read than that one in this video, and now we're in man-to-man coverage where we're just getting torched. What else was going to happen there? Deep safety wasn't even near the football. So what do we call this? We call this the UMass special. Beating ourselves for no reason. Oh, out of reach. Out of reach. We have a 20-yard gain, but no, we're going to throw it out of reach, and it's going to be a pick 6 instead. This is why we are 0-10. It is so hard to believe that just a second ago, we could have made things 14-10. But that is how fast things can change. OG, going to get his opportunity to finally make his catch. I just think we lost it over the last couple minutes. I don't see us coming back in this one, no matter how well we play the rest of it. It really is a challenge for me to not have a scrambling quarterback. I don't know how to handle it. We're now on 3rd and 10, and they are really dialing up the heat. We just fit it in there. But it's another play we cannot catch. We're missing our best receiver when we need him the most. There it is. I have decided that's the exact play we're running, though. What is this route from OG? Is it going to destroy man? No. No, it leads to a sack. I'd never seen it before. I had to see it play out. 2nd and 23. About 23 seconds left in the half. Turn around. Drop it. This is where we surprise them. We pull out the stretch play. And the stretch play gets 1. Starting the second half with the football, trailing by 21 points. We actually have a shot at hitting the deep post with Dallas Elliott back out there. He just isn't fast enough to pull off something like that. I thought he did a decent job in placing it, Lawrence, but now he's just getting hit. It's 4th and 8. We're going for it. This is the game right here. Comeback route, turn around, Massey catches it. That's actually a huge play out of Kenyon Massey. I saw this one earlier in the game where they just left him open underneath. So we might have found one of my favorite plays in the game. If he is always open underneath, plus we could look over the seam. Just felt optimal. I couldn't audible to an inside zone, though. This will be a halfback draw, which is not good. It is 4th and 6, and can you tell that I'm ready to face UConn? I don't think we pull this off. We don't. Even if we can prevent them from getting into the end zone on a 3rd and goal, we're still going to be trailing by 24 points. We'll see what Austin Simmons has cooked up here. A pick could actually be really nice. I see the hitch open, but I left him. Cam Coleman with another touchdown, and it only got worse from there. It's okay, though, because another defensive back has committed to the Minutemen. It is the 7th signing that we have in this class so far. We are still going after the 5-star receiver Bryce Kroom. Looks like he was just on a visit to Virginia that didn't go well. We also have guys coming in on a visit against UConn this week where we get so much of a boost if we can win this rivalry. It's all of these defenders. It would really help out our future because we're in battles for all of them. And then some other guys out of the Northeast, like a punter we could move to kicker, could be really effective. This guy is a JUCO junior. Don't really want him. This receiver, as good as a 3-star receiver sounds, he's got 80 speed. So it's not like there's many hits that we could land. UConn is playing for bowl eligibility at the moment. There are 65 overall. And if we look at their roster, a couple really solid receivers. So no man-to-man coverage, that's for sure. But their quarterback is just a 76. He's not the fastest. And if we take a little bit more of a look in the Nick Evers, who cares about his stats or that he was a 4-star? he has a partial ACL tear, so he won't be on the field. That means we're facing a backup quarterback, a running back that is slow. All while we get to host it in our home stadium as well. We have a real chance. I thought we might see some snow in this game, but that is not going to be the case. There is rain coming down instead. And it was 33 degrees out, so we were so close to freezing weather. What would be neat is if they added in dynamic weather, so as the game goes on, as it gets darker and colder, the rain changed over to snow, especially since the temperatures are so close. UConn only leads the series by 1. We could tie things up today. We also have some 3-stars visiting in this game, so I'd love to win. First carry is getting us almost nothing, though, and it's just not good vision out of Brandon Hood. That could have been a much larger run than it was. I still think we'll move the chains on 3rd and inches. I'm trucking for it, and I don't care. We're doing a punt fake straight to Markovich. Jax has enough. It was a close call, but I was willing to take that risk. We're not getting held to a 3 and out, especially when we struggle to get defensive stops. But to see that Brandon Hood is already dealing with wear and tear concerns me. Now 3rd and 11. We have a huge down. I want to pick up, and it was such a bad throw. 3 guys were able to get to it before our receiver. That is absolutely not the start that we could have against UConn. Bubble screen is going to be open. We can't get off of the block. Daniel can't make the tackle. Wow, we just went down 7-0 so fast. It was obviously not the way we thought this one would start. And it's just a loss of yards. We're not running the ball effectively so far. We're going to try and throw it. Dallas Elliott takes it to the 42, but we know that we cannot put a lot of our offense through the air, that we are going to have to establish things on the ground. We really need to break off a big one, and that'll help us. There's a little bit of momentum to feel better. Now we're hitting them with play action. OG, wide, open, and OG is going to drop it. You can't make this up. In our biggest game of the year, our star tight end and receivers just not catching the football, but Brandon Hood doesn't care. Get out of there, buddy. Okay, I guess we should just run, and then punt if we have to. By the end of this game, he might have 40 carries, and we got our sack. There was no choice. When I bit down as hard as I did, we had to get that pressure. And my counter to this, if we're going to bring down McGill, we need to have basically like a cover 2 look out there on the field. Check down. Please do not go all the way. Just like that, it is 4th and 9. We have stopped the Huskies. We have to look past that early interception that could have been avoided. It's simple. We just run the football, and if we don't know what to do, if we have to get like 10 yards, we still run the football because Brandon Hood is just that guy. Brandon Hood is that guy. He gets out in the open field, makes a defender miss, celebrates on his way in, and we just need to make sure he continues to get looks because that was incredible. That read is going to be wide open. We don't make the tackle either. He literally spun into our tackle. They have quarterback Tucker McDonald thrown it a little bit more than I thought he would, but we're going to bring in 5, see if we can generate any pressure. It's a halfback draw that'll get them about 9 yards. Even after MJ Flowers just did that to us, though, I'm not very worried about their rushing game. This could be a jet touch pass. If it's not, well, they're going to get another 10. UConn has very quickly worked their way down into the red zone, but I don't think it's anything to worry about yet. They're just going to hit their tight end, and we miss another tackle. This game might legitimately have 0 defense. Jeremiah McGill with the tackle, though. And what a play from him. He was getting blocked on that one. We were really just hoping that they couldn't score out of it. Slants should not be open above our zones. We've got to hit him there. I was about to say, if he was able to bring in that catch with multiple dudes hitting him from different angles, it would have been frustrating. They also doink it off of the post, so we have our 7-point lead. We have 5.5 minutes left in this half to score more points. And I guess Jake Lawrence is getting the first down. They knew who we wanted to pitch that ball to. They were not going to let us get it out. I feel like we could beat them deep. We haven't taken many shots to Massey. He has it. He has it. I might as well get the sophomore another touch after he just outran that defender. It won't be going for a lot, but we can come out, we can spread him out, and then it's easy. You just decide to run because no one's catching Brandon Hood. He has 141 yards on the ground. I feel like Kenyon Massey could get open, or we are just going to hit OG in the end zone, putting us up 21-7. We have been in good positions this year. Nothing like this. Could we finally have coached UMass to a win later in the season? I mean, they are just threading the needle there. Are you kidding me? I thought we got over to that football. I thought we were about to have an interception. Already up by 14 points. We're hitting the quarterback hard. We want to make Tucker McDonald feel our presence, and we're out there to hit him. Running backs are clearly not safe either. Cutting across the field. There's a flag on the play. I think it's holding. And not only was the throw off, but they also were committing a penalty. It was holding. I actually think we accept this, though. Get him out of field goal range. And just really hope that they don't pick up a 3rd and 19. That would be super upsetting. We can't give up the slant. Hitch isn't there. We should have never accepted it. I just didn't imagine that they were going to pick up a 3rd and 19 on us the way that we have been playing defense. Now they're going to score. It was a really dumb decision. I feel like it was the right one still. I don't know. What would you all have done? Let me know in the comments. Can't use hindsight either. You have to assume you're getting the stop there because I sure assumed we would. Jet touch pass. They actually did the jet touch pass this time. And 45 is in. Nehemiah Hughes is a tough kid to contain. We're just outrunning our blocker. And I think we need to take this to the end of the first half because if I start forcing it, we're going to have a turnover. UConn's going to get the football back. So I'm hoping they just let us hand it off on 3rd and 9. They don't call any timeouts. Are we going to get the first? We do. Hang on. What if we were able to get Brandon Hood on a halfback wheel route and they weren't acknowledging him? Zach Lawrence running for his life. Probably a good sign after that to just take things into halftime. We have our 7-point lead. To my luck, I'm surprised he didn't just fumble the football there and let things be all tied up at 21. Instead, we're still up. And it's because Brandon Hood had 151 rushing yards. We knew that he would have to go crazy in order for us to pick up a win this season. He was our only great player. Even though if you threw him on any other roster in the league, he would be the most average running back on it. I think he's shined for us though because we've just had nobody else that we can depend on. And it's another first down for UConn. Handing it off, breaking the first tackle, but not the second. Our diving tackles have been very effective though. I don't know who is supposed to be manned up on 80. That feels like a major overlook. We're not going to come out in man-to-man after that. Jeremiah McGill had to step up. And this is his zone to cover right here. They take the deep shot on Bailey's head. This is our pick. This is not our pick. Just like that, the Huskies have tied things all up at 21 like it was nothing. Just chucking up prayers and hoping for the best. It worked out for them, but we're running effectively. I have seen absolutely nothing that makes us ever want to go away from running the football. We can mix in some bubble screens to Dallas Elliott. And until UConn proves that they're able to stop the run, here comes another one. That could have been more. There's literally nothing else this could be. We're making it obvious. And if we run to the left side, which is our stronger side for blockers, plus we bring over a pulling guard, of course we're going to get the first down. This is the play that could lead to a surprise touchdown, though, because we've run it so many times in a row. Blocker picked up. We still have the comeback route out there for Kenyon Massey. Though Jake Lawrence is not fast enough to be doing stuff back there in the pocket, it doesn't make me feel amazing. I wish coach suggestions would open up the playbook a little bit more for us instead of me having to manually find new plays. But this was a dive we hadn't run. And the last time that we pulled out a pulling guard, it really set up a good play for us. Instead, we had holding on this one, though. Look at the detail on the helmets with the raindrops. It looks sick. It's the only positive I can find out of that call because we are going to be forced to go through the air. And is that going to be a stopped route? No. I thought he was on a curl. He never stopped. He was supposed to be on a curl unless I called the wrong play. We had to get at least a touchdown. Now, UConn, all tied up at 21, could take the lead. And that's so frustrating because we were working it down the field in a great way. What would be really nice is if there was any stadium pulse at all. I'm not seeing any at the top of our screen. That's how bad it is here. Finally, after that tackle, there's a little bit. We're trying to pump them up, but it's just not really making a difference at all. Is that going to be a pick? No. It's a great throw. For Tucker McDonald to be the backup quarterback playing like this, UConn is deep. The Huskies have far more depth than we do, and they'll continue to develop as long as they don't transfer. We'll see how they open up this fourth quarter. It's going to be a first down to their tight end. We cannot leave one guy in isolation against any of their players. They're just better than us. Hit him hard, and he stays on his feet. You tell your guys to put their back into it, and he put all of the power he could have there. It just wasn't strong enough. I just have to hope that there is a bubble on third down. Are you serious? That's a pick six. We literally played it from the 34-yard line. They are punting because they don't trust themselves to kick a field goal. I cannot believe that they're not going for it. Just seeing where we're starting this drive at, though, it makes a little bit of sense. We were at the 4-yard line, now at the 6. We have to go 96 yards down the field, potentially a lot of it coming right here on this run. And if we work it 96 yards down the field, or we just work it like 70, 75 and get that field goal, we win. We have not been in a position like this late into a game. We always end up blowing it sooner than we have. Though you see the route that Kenyon Massey is on. It cannot be an interception this time around. We're just going to wait for him to stop, and then he comes to the football. It's swatted away. That play hasn't really done much for us. It looked like we almost fumbled that punt for a second as well. At least the bounce is going to be kind. But 4 minutes on the clock. UConn could clock us and end this game. They might just continue to run, which is why we're getting aggressive here, and we just got caught up. We could have shot that so much quicker. We got double man coverage over here on that guy, It doesn't matter much if Clark is getting toasted, but we could still stop him. 3rd and 5. We're going to send 5, and that's not there. But I cannot play both of those guys. Judging off the fact they punted from the 34-yard line, I don't think they have a good kicker, so that is the one thing that is going for us. At some point, we got to get him off the field, though. We can run commit. We know the run is coming. Is he going to go to the outside or not? I tried to get out there. It's a touchdown. UConn's up by 7. We are going to need a miracle out of this team. Get out of Massey's way. That is so frustrating. We still got 2 minutes left. So a big run from Brandon Hood could be nice here. I have still yet to throw this slant to the tight end off of this play. Is this the time that we do it? No. I think it's always just going to be the slant or the stretch run that we take. It might even be worth it for us to just try it. See what defense UConn's rocking with. We might have them beat. No, Elliott, break it up. Break that pass up. I was not expecting that other defender to be assisting there. He had another guy beat. And I'm a little bit worried because with only 1:15 left now, backup running back in for 3rd and 2. It's not going to matter. Andy doing us a great job. Though I had to get Brandon Hood out there. We still have all 3 of our timeouts. Another inside zone. Another time we're going to get to carve apart this D. There is an injury timeout for Brandon, though. And I don't see why. He's only down to -4 speed on the wear and tear. Look at his season health. All of a sudden, we are going to have to throw the football. We're not going to hand it off here. Is OG going to get open off of this? We've never run this play before. That should have been game. I don't know what we do. I genuinely don't know what we do. Maybe a jet touch pass? Could this be big? Massey? Not quick enough. Somehow, we are going to get numbers over on that side, though. I just discovered this play in hurry up. We shift both tight ends. We have all the numbers in the world. This seems so overpowered. Come on. Come on. 24 seconds left. Get over there. Massey, you got the blockers. No, you don't. I guess we're going to have to go out of bounds. If it's 4th and 4, I think you got to go with the high-low read. We're looking at OG. If he's not there, we just had to take our other hitch, and we are so close to reaching the end zone. I've also noticed Hood is back out there on the field, so we're staring him down out of the backfield. He is going to make the grab, and I don't think you go for the 2-point conversion. We have to be trusting our defense once we get to overtime. It is the only way. No, 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 no! This is not how the season is going to end. A walk-off return? Are you kidding me? We played that whole game so well. We should have gone for 2. I guess it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but that's 40 wins. That is 40 wins in the series. We're at 38. 257 rushing yards was not enough. And I am just speechless. I don't know what to say. We get cheated out of every game this season. And then the one that we play our best, we still get cheated. Go ahead, bring on the offseason. 257 rushing yards not being enough is insane. There's not many players on this team I really care if we retain. Zach Lawrence, 7 touchdowns to 19 interceptions. Brandon Hood is who I want to keep around, and he cares about playing time, so we know he's not leaving us. He got so many carries this season. In fact, way more than I thought he could take. Receiving-wise, tight end, of course, Dallas Elliott. Those are our leading 2. And defensively, well, sack leader had to be Jerry Washington. I'm surprised he only had 3 sacks, interceptions, Raheem Sexto and Jeremiah McGill, both with 2. But what a rough year. The fact that we could still sign Bryce Kroom, insane to me. It might happen next week. For all of these other battles where we had these week 13 visits, I think we're going to lose a couple of those players. We should have executed better. And I should actually be really proud and excited. All of the NIL resources we collected, all of these buy games, we were able to afford a 5-star recruit. It's just that loss to UConn has messed me up mentally because I wasn't paying attention and all of a sudden I look up and he's just jetting. It happens more often in this game than you think. I don't pay much attention on the kick returns. We have an elite recruiter as our offensive coordinator, though. Not that it's going to benefit us much until he upgrades. At least for our defensive coordinator, I don't really think I want to keep Jared around, but we're not going to fire both of them. We're just going to fire one for now. I don't even want to know how many players are about to transfer away from UMass. I'm very scared for that. And the Heisman Trophy winner, it's going to go to Julian Sayin. I mean, when we played him, he diced us apart. I also just realized one other thing we should do. I've been contemplating this, whether or not we leave on the manual progression XP penalty or not, and I think it only makes sense if we let all of our players auto-progress. If I can do it manually, it's going to give us a much bigger advantage than if the computer just takes care of it. So we'll see how that affects this entire rebuild. It might take a lot longer to win it all. It typically does for all the rebuilds I do in one video, and we're going to actually sign another recruiter on our staff. My idea behind this is we're going to try and get as much XP as possible for signing a class of 35 players. We're going to have a lot of churn on this roster, and I just hope that one day we can find ourselves in the playoff. I feel like with the hard schedule we're going to face, we could get in with a couple of losses as an independent, but it just feels so far off into the future whenever we have no chance at convincing one of our best corners, Raheem Sexton, who I was glazing all year, to return. He doesn't want to. We also lose guys like JC Clark. We only had 4 seniors graduate. That should really show you how few seniors wanted to stick around here, but Dallas Elliott is a big name. Tyler Martin, big name, not great on the field. Jeremiah McGill's going to be missed. Zarian Daniel, he just gambled. And I know it's really going to surprise all of you. We did not have anyone drafted into the NFL. With auto progression on, we might not for years to come. We can finally see some dev traits, though. Our 5-star receiver is a normal dev. So Bryce Kroom is off to an awful start, though we did get star dev on Steven. I just can't manually upgrade his speed. Enrique Cush is impact on the corner. We got normal dev. It is not good for a JUCO to be seeing normal. We got star on Tim Gold. And everybody else, we're just going to have to allocate hours to try and close out some of those players while also going after transfer. We have 10 spots on our board, but there are only so many states where we can look at transfers from. Connecticut, you'll see just a 2-star transfer from UConn wants to come here. Jackson Harper, I didn't notice him during our game. I have been looking at quarterbacks though, and I found David Lynch, a quarterback transferring from Pittsburgh. I can't imagine he's great as a 2-star transfer, but you know how desperate we are to get some more quarterbacks into our room, and currently nobody from New Jersey that's transferring is interested at playing quarterback for us. We also can't get anyone from New York, and there's nobody from Massachusetts either, so he's the one transfer we can target, though I do find it funny that both Tucker McDonald and Blake Herbert, 2 players we faced this year, are in the portal. One of them had the starting job. I just don't get why he is leaving. We got a running back in Detrell Jones I would love to land, also a tight end in Brian Nat who could really add to our receiving core of feeding tight ends. But unfortunately, after a week after report that George Hunter, the linebacker, has committed to Rutgers over us, I really wanted him too. There's a lot of team needs that we're not going to be able to fill, but I did overlook this one receiver from Old Dominion. I don't think anyone else wants him, but I think he could really help us. He is ranked as like the 254th best transfer in the class. After getting some visits scheduled, I thought I was going to land all 35 players in this class, but I can tell that we're probably not going to get Hills, the left tackle. Nebraska is just going to be the better school for him. We don't have the things to hard sell him on. We already had him on his visit. So I think we just have to accept that we're not going to sign a full class, that we're not going to make every spot in our offensive line a little bit better, though I still feel like we were able to bring in enough guys to be good there. And the big signing that I care about is actually David Lynch, even though he could be like a 65 overall. It is so weird to me to be sitting here looking through guys that are 2-stars that we're signing, 1-star corners that we're signing. It truly feels like with all the restrictions in place, we have set ourselves up for failure. There is the left tackle going to Nebraska. But you know what? Outside of him, we signed so many guys. I can't wait to see what all their dev traits are. And our class is going to be ranked at 39th in the country still. A lot of that lifting probably coming from the 5 and 4-star signing. Even with that in mind though, I was not expecting to get that great of a class ranking. When I excluded Pennsylvania as one of the Northeast states that we could recruit from, I knew it would make things more challenging. I knew there'd be years where positions like our quarterback room just aren't bringing in the talent that we want. But I'm really happy I chose to do it this way. I think it's going to lead to a very interesting series. We got star development on Austin. I feel like this is the kid though that wants to transfer out due to pro potential, which is not a great sign. And before training results, Naheem Abdul Rahim Gladding, the receiver we brought in, is the highest overall on the team. So I was right in the fact that we should have gone after him. I also can't stress enough how important it is that we signed a punter that is 100% playing kicker. We were working with Dion Abrams, who had just 74 kick power, 66 accuracy. I've also noticed we are going to need a couple more running backs. We only have 3 bodies in that room right now. So I found this gadget receiver. He could become a quarterback, but he's just going to go over to running back. And Elijah Pedro is going to as well. Not because he's a great running back or we need him there. I guess we do need him there for the depth, but he's just way behind on the receiver depth chart. I will say one position group I'm very concerned about though is our defensive backs. We only have 4 corners. We have 1 free safety and 1 strong safety who has 77 speed. He's a 52 overall. So I almost need to move one of these transfer linebackers over to safety and that should cover us for a little bit. The other alternative is we take like a Ben Capps, a 77 speed athlete, and make him play corner, but he'd be just a 42 overall, so we can't do that. So that leaves me with one option. Brandon Hood is not going to go over to corner, though he'd be a 63. But Elijah Pedro will have to go over there. Instead of being a running back, he is now being transformed to corner. I can only imagine how terrible his skill caps are about to be. I just felt like I didn't have a choice. We're not meeting the roster requirements. One of our transfers just got a dev trade upgrade. Harry Moorhead is a linebacker that is now a 72 overall, and this is what the top of our roster is going to look like with Brandon Hood being the best player. As much as I hoped his speed got upgraded, that's not what the computer focused on. Instead, they did a little bit of elusiveness, some stuff to catching. Can we just upgrade his speed? Then we have our conversion of Elijah Pedro over to cornerback. He cares about coach prestige, so he's still going to transfer in a year. And he only has 48 man coverage, 58 zone coverage. The only thing that makes him decent is his speed. At tight end, OG only went up to a 70 overall. He is now our third best tight end. Transfer Brian Nat that we brought in is a little bit slower with only 78 speed, but he does have better IQ, elusiveness, catching, route running. And it is the transfers that have come up big time for us because we might actually be able to throw the football this next season. Cam Locke is a transfer, got a +4 speed. Kenyon Massey up to a 95 speed. We have serviceable players on this offense now. I still don't think we'll ever use Cliff Jewell. It's David Lynch and Zach Lawrence, though, battling out to be our starting quarterback. I don't want to go back to Zach Lawrence for another season, though David Lynch's accuracy stats aren't anything too spectacular. He does have 88 throw power, 73 speed. He's a big pocket passer. While Zach Lawrence, being 6 overall, is higher, he already has experience in our system. He is just as accurate, a little bit weaker of an arm, but we might actually be rocking with him again. All in all, this is the roster we'll be working with in season number 2. It is a step up from what we had on the field last year. And I just have to hope that we're able to start scraping out some wins next season, or else it's going to continue to be a mess. It's going to be a very challenging series. But you know what? We haven't had a long series on the channel in a while, so this could be great stuff headed into the off season. I hope you all are enjoying it. Make sure to leave a like on the video. Let me know down below in the comments as much engagement as possible. Continue to get this series pushing, and I'll see you all in episode 2 in a few days.